Good afternoon. We have high school basketball action coming your way on Home Country Radio, KLGZ, and the Algona Radio YouTube stream. I'm Tyler Lance. I'll be joined by Greg Stewart here shortly as we have the Algona Bulldogs and the Garner Hayfield Ventura Cardinals. North Central Conference against top of Iowa West in a good matchup today, bringing in the 6-4 Bulldogs coming off a win last night, 60-21 against St. Edmund, and the 4-5 Garner Hayfield Ventura Cardinals. Basketball action is coming your way in just over 10 minutes. We'll have it all for you here on Home Country. First, big thank you to our video streaming sponsors, including Algona State Farm Insurance agent Billy Offerman, Algona Municipal Utilities, where they are community-owned for community benefits. Also, Hying Endeavors, proud supporter of area athletics, and Chemna Auto Center, where it's not just about the car, it's about the care. We'll take a quick time out here from a couple of our sponsors, and then we'll talk with Algona head coach Noel McLaughlin, as I was able to catch up with him during breakfast with the coaches this morning and get his thoughts on this afternoon's game. It's all coming up on Home Country Radio, KLGZ, and the Algona Radio YouTube live stream.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these sports club members.
American Glass, for all your glass needs, think American.
Farm Bureau Financial Agents Dave Beisch, Jason Brace, Daniel Foth, and Michael Tull.
Chemco Tires, they're all you need to know about tires and service.
Weichert Realtors, the 515 Agency, a fresh approach to real estate.
Feed Mill Coffee Company, where community connects.
Iowa Lakes Community College, your community, your college.
PMC Advantage Insurance Services, insuring our neighbors for over 80 years.
Walker Chiropractic and Wellness, caring for Algona, Sway City, and the surrounding areas with chiropractic, nutritional, and physical therapy services.
All proud sponsors of this broadcast.
Breakfast with the Coaches continues here from the Algona Hy-Vee Market Grill, as right now I'm joined by Bulldog Girls head coach Noel McLaughlin. Coach, thanks for stopping by this morning. How's it going today?
Well, good morning, Tyler. It's going great. It's Saturday morning in January, so you know everybody's kind of busy with basketball on their mind, and we'll talk a little basketball here.
No doubt about it. And, Coach, you guys come off that win over St. Edmund last night. Again, we'll get into that in just a second here, but, you know, first game coming out of break, what were a couple big focuses you guys had going into winter break that you worked on?
Well, winter break, you know, we needed to work on some things. We had a couple tough games going into that, with the Garrigan game followed by the Clear Lake game, where we didn't play particularly well in the Clear Lake game that first half, played well the second half, but those are things where going into break, it kind of sit with you a little sour, and you have to sit and wait. So last night couldn't come soon enough. But over break, we got some good practices in. We were able to go up to North Union. We actually scrimmaged them in Fenton, so it's kind of nice to get into that old gym. It's a good gym, but we got a good workout in there, and then getting back to school has been kind of a strange schedule just with weather, but for the most part we had a great practice schedule over break, and but we were itching to get back into action, especially how we went into the break.
Coach, yeah, I'm sure there's two sides of the coin, because on one hand, you had that game against Clear Lake. It probably really illustrated a few issues you felt the team needed to work out as you go forward. But on the other hand, you kind of have to sit on that game that had a lot of hype in it and sit on it for a couple weeks. So mentally, how did you feel the girls got past that one?
Well, I think you're right. Yeah, anytime you see good opponents, you come out of it, especially if you have the right mindset, you come out of it with knowing, hey, these are things that we need to improve on. And so we took that into break, and we knew, I think the main thing is the mindset. That second half showed us, you know, we can play at that level. And so over break, you know, the things we work on is just being intense, you know, stepping up and competing in all our drills, playing at a fast level, and then playing as if you belong there. And so over break, we saw some great practices. You know, we were able to do that when we scrimmaged North Union. So I think you're right. And when you step away from losses, you find things that you got to keep working on, or you find things that, hey, this is going well, and we got to keep doing it.
And, Coach, you get back in the win column last night, 60-21 over St. Edmund. What were a couple big takeaways coming out of that game?
Well, to hold them to 11 points in the first half and 10 points in the second half, you know, sometimes in a game like that, you expect to jump out early and big, but that's just not how basketball works. So you got to stay patient. You got to keep things. We did not make a three-pointer in that first half. We got really good looks. We got good looks all over the court. We just weren't putting the ball in the hole, and sometimes a team can get frustrated in that situation, but we didn't. We talked about just, hey, keep playing defense, and we did that in the second half. And so, you worry about a team, letting off a little bit, and I'm not saying you continue to full court press or anything like that. I'm saying, no, just being sharp. And we stayed sharp for 4 quarters. We started shooting the ball a little bit better. We got our way down low with Alayla. She finished with 18 and I think about 12 rebounds for a double-double. So we were able to get a lot of things going. And what I like most is we got out a little bit and got some easy transition buckets, some layups off of our steals. And so I felt really good about seeing 4 quarters, especially the defensive effort.
And, Coach, you get right into back-to-back games here, traveling to Garner, Hayfield, Ventura this afternoon. What have you seen from the Cardinals this year?
Well, they've got good athletes. I like how they shoot the ball. They're really looking for the 3. Adam Ernest, I think I taught him back when he was a 5th grader my days in Clarion, so I've known Adam since he was a young man. But I like the things they're doing. And see some zone out of them, some 2-3, some 2-2-1. But they're a team that plays hard. He's got them, doing a good job there, and so their athletes are going to look to get going, and we've got to be able to defend that. They're going to play hard.
And, Coach, just looking at their stats from this year, one thing that really jumps out is the ability they have to rebound. I think they're getting around 41 boards per game, a really good rebounding team. So how do you make sure that you guys, stay with them or even get an advantage on the glass today?
Well, they don't have a lot of height, but what they lack in height, they really get after you. And so long shots get long rebounds. And so they know their role, and in that zone, they do their job. They cover up, different looks that you're trying to get. So I'm really impressed with the job he's done. And on the defensive end, without I would say too many big kids inside with height, they're able to defend, and they're able to get up and down the court, and they'll look to shoot that 3. And so you got to be ready to go.
Well, Coach, what do you feel is the biggest key for this afternoon to pick up a win?
Well, I think we've got to control the tempo, and I think we've got to continue to attack, and that's really what our message has been, is create opportunities for yourself, create advantages, and so we got to keep pounding that message and keep attacking.
Well, Coach, thank you for joining this morning, and we'll see you this afternoon.
Thank you, Tyler.
More Sports Club members making these broadcasts possible on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Reeb's Wicked Good Bar and Grill. For wicked good food, drinks, and service, you gotta go to Reeb's.
CB Grain Solutions, satisfaction guaranteed.
New Way K&H Co-op, delivering exceptional value through knowledge and innovation.
Dump It. They do the dirty work so you don't have to.
Albert Electric. Flip the switch to Albert Electric.
Grassmasters, growing satisfied customers.
Greg Penny & Company CPA, certified public accountants, where everyone counts.
Yemlin Builders and Apartments, quality apartments for rent, beauty and craftsmanship that will never go out of style.
Daylight Donuts, open early with delicious donuts and great coffee.
All sponsors of this broadcast.
With over a decade of experience, Jake Ingalls Electric is here to handle any electrical job you could possibly have. From anything agricultural related to complex commercial wiring to something simple like installing a new outlet in your home, Jake Ingalls Electric does it all. Have your wiring done right and call Jake at 515-320-4286. Jake Ingalls Electric, shockingly good service.
High school basketball coming up on this Saturday afternoon as the Algona Bulldogs match up with the Garner Hayfield Ventura Cardinals live from Garner Hayfield Ventura High School. I'm Tyler Lance. My partner is Greg Stewart. As you just heard, Algona head coach Noel McLaughlin and his thoughts on this afternoon's game. Greg, interesting one here. Anytime these two teams match up, you think about two teams that are pretty familiar with each other. For teams that are not in the same conference, they obviously have that annual non-conference matchup. Garner's won the past 2 games against Algona, but always competitive when these two teams battle, and two teams that are really similar in that they have the ability to rebound the ball very well. Algona have some good size. Garner Hayfield Ventura, as Coach McLaughlin said in the interview, not quite as big as Algona, but still very scrappy on the board, so rebounding definitely something to watch tonight, and overall it's an interesting matchup between these two.
Yeah, it always is. Similar size schools and not far apart on Highway 18, but yet in opposite conferences, so they don't see each other a lot, but they do see each other regularly, once a year, and as you mentioned, those matchups are usually pretty good. The rebounding, Coach McLaughlin also talked about tempo, and really the Bulldogs coming off an easy win, relatively easy win last night against St. Ed's, but we heard that they did struggle with the three-point shot, and when that happens, how do you react? And they handled it pretty well, it sounds like. The other thing is those 2 losses right before Christmas. How do you come off Christmas break? This Garner Hayfield Ventura game is usually in that first week of January, as we are right now. So it's one more opportunity to kind of test your legs, test your strategy, see how well you've adjusted over the Christmas break before you really hit the second half of the season.
And Greg, my keyword for today is energy, and that is always a question when you play a Saturday game. Not always as big of a crowd as a Friday night game, not necessarily the pep band being in either or anything like that. So sometimes on Saturday games, you do need to create your own energy. But the other aspect of that is Algona's on the second night of the back-to-back. Garner Hayfield Ventura, they're playing for the 3rd game in a row just because of the way postponements worked out and rescheduling games. So Garner Hayfield Ventura, 3rd game in a row. Algona, 2nd game in a row. Teams playing on an unusual time slot on Saturday afternoon. So energy is going to be a big factor in this one, and which team can bring it.
Yeah, it really is. And when Coach McLaughlin talked about tempo, that might be particularly big tonight, because if the Bulldogs can successfully push the ball, and this being the 3rd game in a row for Garner, the legs might start to weaken a little bit for the Cardinals as this game moves on. But we'll keep an eye on that along with the rebounding and defending against the 3. Because Garner, if they get hot from out there, that 3-point shot can swing momentum fast.
So that is what we are looking for this afternoon. It's the Algona Bulldogs and the Garner Hayfield Ventura Cardinals from Garner Hayfield Ventura High School. And it's coming up in a couple minutes on Home Country Radio and the Algona Radio YouTube live stream.
When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at moneypass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC. For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
More Sports Club members making these broadcasts possible on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Kasuth Regional Health Center. Make KRHC your home for healthcare.
North Iowa Appliance Center, Highway 18 East Algona, where they sell the best and service the rest.
Tom Eischen Sales, your store in the country. Highway 18 West.
Algona Plumbing and Heating, where a good flush always beats a full house.
Runkey Brothers Full Service. Experience the Runkey Brothers difference for all of your auto service and repair needs.
Erpelding and Boyd CPAs. They're not just about taxes.
Erpelding Excavating Enterprise. Let them take care of your grading, excavating, and drainage needs.
Hy-Vee. Use the Fuel Saver card. Fill your cart, fuel your car.
AK's Chrome Kitchen. When you come in, your family.
All Sports Club members bringing you this broadcast.
At Security State Bank, we realize each customer has a unique set of needs and goals. That's why we place a greater value on providing outstanding customer service. All products and services are designed for customers within our local community. We value each customer that walks through our door and wants to give them the personalized attention they deserve. Find out why Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne is your partner in community banking. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio. Brought to you by these Sports Club members.
Farmer State Bank is proud to be a part of our community for over 125 years with offices in Algona, Whittemore, and West Bend.
Jensen Chiropractic. Care for the whole family.
Stroman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Phil's Auto and Truck Repair. Service is the difference.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
Oak Crest Funeral Services. Celebrating a life lived.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
Algona Frame and Auto Body. Collision Specialist. A total commitment to excellence.
Water Connection, from softeners to bottled water and service. Call 295-SOFT.
Algona Pizza Ranch. There's so much to love.
All bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio. When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at MoneyPass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
National Anthem just wrapping up from Garner, Hayfield, Ventura High School as we have basketball action. Starting lineup change for the Algona Bulldogs as this afternoon the Bulldogs bring out a starting five of the sophomore Casey Van Otterloo, senior Lillian Etherington, sophomore Lauren McLaughlin, senior Layla Perry, and the senior Kaylee Carroll into the starting lineup. For Garner, Hayfield, Ventura that is, it's junior Jenna Prignitz, junior Allie Durr, senior Morgan Krein, senior Rebecca Halick, and junior Greta Gouge. Well, Greg, I think Algona has added some more size into their starting lineup of Kaylee Carroll. They really want to make sure they take care of the rebounding battle this afternoon.
Well, yeah, we talked about that maybe being a key, and Carroll does give them just a little bit more size. Pretty good lineup size-wise for Algona on the floor there with three girls right at 6 foot or a little bit above.
And one of them is Layla Perry. She is at midcourt right at the edge of the Cardinal logo. Getting set for today's opening tip-off, it's Perry and Gouge. Gouge taps it sideways over to Krein, and we are underway. Garner, Hayfield, Ventura wearing the white uniforms with the black numerals on the front and back. Algona in the road blacks with the red lettering and numbering. Cardinals head from right to left on the radio dial. This is a team that's averaging about 47.5 points per game. Halick penetrates into the lane, kicks it out to Prignitz for three. It's an air ball. It's tapped off of Perry's hand and out of bounds as Garner, Hayfield, Ventura will keep it. So an early three-point miss for the Cardinals. They will try to get the three-point ball going tonight, no doubt about it, as that's an early attempt. Into the corner, it's Halick. She'll shoot the three ball, and she'll swish it. Early three by the Cardinals. Bulldogs let that one get open off the inbounds play as the Cardinals throw a little zone press at Algona. Bulldogs break it. McLaughlin outside to Etherington, holds it over her head as she heads around the perimeter. Up top to Van Otterloo, has Halick in her face as she passes it far corner to McLaughlin. 7:16 on the clock, 3-0 Cardinals. Back to the near side to Etherington, down to the baseline to Carroll. All the way across Van Otterloo. Catches, fires, and misses it off to the left. And here come the Cardinals with a ready-made push. It's Gouge, picked up her dribble and turned 360 as she gives it right to Durr. Outside to Krein. Krein shoots the three, left it a little short, and the long rebound is out to Van Otterloo. Comes up to the near side to Etherington. Sidearms to McLaughlin. Quick early pace the first couple of possessions. And now up top to Van Otterloo as the Bulldogs run their offense. Into the high post to Perry. Has players hanging all over her. She gets rid of the basketball. Down onto the baseline to Carroll. Out top to Van Otterloo, a little behind her. Pass to Etherington. She'll shoot the three, and she'll splash it to tie the game.
Now that's going to be an opportunity for the Bulldogs, I think, because that zone really packing tight inside.
Good patient possession by Algona. Their team is very disciplined. Bulldogs take a lot of good shots. You do not see a whole lot of rushed possessions and bad shots, as now a traveling violation whistled against the Cardinals.
Little dribble penetration into that zone, and she got stopped, and she turned around, drug the back foot. First turnover of the game.
A little bit of a 2-2-1 here as far as the press by the Cardinals. Zone press as Van Otterloo's on the far side of the court.
Yep.
Could not keep that back foot. They might have gotten away with one there. That looked like a travel. Up to Carroll. Carroll had it knocked away briefly, picked it back up. Over to Van Otterloo, far side of the court. Rises for a three-pointer, and she cans it. Casey Van Otterloo picking up right where she left off. Had double-digit points last night against St. Edmund. It is 6-3 in favor of Algona. And now a throwaway by the Cardinals.
Well, big for the Bulldogs to hit 2 out of the first 3 from outside the arc. Coach McLaughlin saying they struggled a bit last night with that shot. It's going to be big tonight, though.
Casey Van Otterloo hitting that last one. Shot 35% on three-pointers last year as a freshman. Has hovered right around 32 to 33% this year. She's feeling it. She'll shoot it again, and she'll hit it again.
Now that's why they call that three-point shot a zone buster, because Garner might have to adjust their defense. They're not going to be able to pack the lane as they have so far.
Bulldogs are 29% three-point shooting team this year. They are feeling it early, up 9-3. And we've got a timeout called by Coach Adam Ernest and the Cardinals with 5:24 on the clock. 30-second timeout, so we will keep it right here. And Coach Ernest, definitely an interesting coach. He's been around the block. Coach McLaughlin referenced him a little bit in the pregame interview, but Coach Ernest was actually an assistant men's basketball coach at Simpson, and at one point he worked on Bill Fenley's staff at Iowa State. So he's been around, but now taking over a Cardinal program that has won 13 games the past couple of seasons and off to a 4-5 start this year.
Yeah, undoubtedly a lot of great experience there, a lot of knowledge of that young man, and I think Coach McLaughlin also said something about perhaps having him in class.
Yeah, back in his Clarion days.
Yeah. So there's a little history here, but yeah, it should be a great young coach for Clarion Goldfield. And he realized that he was on the verge of a 10-second call there, so he called the timeout to save the possession.
Yeah, Cardinals have been tagged with a couple turnovers here, so they'll try to trap Durr. Bulldogs throw Carroll and McLaughlin at her. Durr bounces it away down the sideline to Krein. Krein has Carroll on her face as she unloads the ball up top to Halick. Into the corner, Prignitz, driving baseline, dealing into the far corner. It's Krein, rising for three and drilling it.
Well, we've got 7 field goal attempts in this ball game, all of them outside the arc.
Yeah, nothing inside so far as Algona leads 9-6 over the Cardinals. Effrington near side of the court. They'll run a couple players at her. She heads left, and she got bumped and fouled. First foul of the afternoon by either side with 4:51 on the clock as the Bulldogs get set to make their first substitution of the afternoon. Paige Schmidt coming into the game as Lauren McLaughlin will inbound the ball, and Kaylee Carroll will take a quick break. McLaughlin from the sideline just underneath us with 4:51 on the clock, lobbing it into the backcourt to Effrington. Bulldogs coming off the 60-21 win last night against St. Edmund. Cardinals coming off a loss to North Union last night as Carroll will make that Effrington's up top now to Perry in the high post, passing it away to Schmidt on the left wing, back to the right wing to Van Otterloo. Near corner to the right of us to McLaughlin. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Bulldogs staying patient, up 9-6. To the right to Van Otterloo. She'll shoot another three-pointer. This one is off the front of the cup and rebounded by Gouge. Now here come the Cardinals, 4:20 on the clock. Prignitz catches, fires, and missed the three a little bit long. And she tried to peel the rebound away from McLaughlin. Now Halick gets in there, and she'll force a jump ball with McLaughlin. Possession arrows towards Algona, but that was good hustle. Halick was not really close to that play, but she saw what was going on there with Prignitz and McLaughlin battling it out, and she had just enough time to get over there and force the tie-up. Effrington, long pass up the court to Perry. Perry, back to Effrington. Left to Schmidt. Now Effrington gets it again up top. Perry hovering in the high post. Creating some traffic. Now to the right to Van Otterloo. She and Effrington go back and forth around the perimeter. Perry screens. Effrington flips it inside to McLaughlin. Behind the defense, too deep to shoot it. Deals to Perry on the block. Perry putting it up, and it is missed. That one slid off the back of the iron. First two-point attempt we've seen from the Bulldogs this afternoon. Into the near corner to Halick. Halick floats from outside of the lane, and she knocks it in.
Well, and the first two-point field goal the other way.
So the teams have found a new weapon in their arsenal, the two-point shot, as Algona's up 9-8, but the Cardinals have scored 5 points in a row. Van Otterloo fought about the three, took one dribble in and then stopped, passing it right to Effrington. Across the lane, now out to Van Otterloo, left angle triple. Oh, and she hit it again.
That's her spot. She's hit 3 out of 4 from over there on the left side.
12-8 Algona. Van Otterloo making a big impact early in this game. She has 9 points. Three ball the other way, misses from Halick, and it's rebounded by Effrington. Now Effrington strides into the front court, throws it a little behind Schmidt as she tracks it down in the near corner. Now right side triple Van Otterloo, and she hits it there too.
Well, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 3-pointers for the Bulldogs here in the first 5 minutes of the play.
1 by Effrington, 4 by Van Otterloo. The three-point shooting is on point this afternoon. Durr into the lane, dealing underneath to Gouge. Gouge put it up, and she got fouled.
That was a nice little underhand pass there, a little shovel pass in the lane to get that look.
Yeah, there's so much traffic in the lane, but she recognized the high hands, just transported the ball underneath that as Alayla Perry will pick up her first foul, and Gouge will be shooting 2 here. Gouge, a 52% free throw shooter. She's been averaging just under 8.5 points per game for the Cardinals as she will bury the first foul shot. Najlee Price will come into the game, replacing Alayla Perry for Algona. Allie Hess into the ball game for the Cardinals as Jenna Prignitz will take a seat on the bench. Prignitz is the Cardinals' leading scorer so far. Not on the board yet. As that shot is up and it is good, as Gouge has a perfect trip to the line, and the Bulldogs' lead is trimmed down to 5 points with 2:34 on the clock. Schmidt has it in the front court and gives it to McLaughlin at the edge of the Cardinal logo.
That was dangerous.
Nearly almost an over and back. McLaughlin had to make sure she got across half court before she touched that ball. 2:20 on the clock. Van Otterloo inside looking for Price, but Gouge got in front and knocked it out of bounds.
Well, it's good to look for those openings inside, because if you can get it down in the middle, you cause that zone to collapse. That's where you get your open looks, but that one just a little too tight.
Effrington bouncing it into Price. Price pivoting away from trouble, flipping it up as it rolls off the rim, no good. And here come the Cardinals. Krein with a little pace up the other way into the far corner to Durr. Down in the post to Gouge, it's off her hands. Price may have gotten a finger on that one as she knocked it out of bounds. So from the baseline, it'll be Durr just to the far side of the basket, getting to inbound it here. Durr lobs it out to the top of the key to Halick, holds it over her head as Schmidt stays close by. Down to 2 minutes to go in quarter number one. Algona 15, Cardinals 10. Hess comes back out top to Krein. Krein right of the lane. McLaughlin stays in front. Now towards the right to Durr. Far side of the court. Down into the low post to Gouge. Working against Price. Fights it up. Great defense by Price. And that shot got nothing but air.
Well, if she stayed right with it, Price did. Kept her arms straight up.
In the far corner, McLaughlin. She'll shoot a three-pointer, but it's off the back of the cup, no good. The rebound is fought for. It is tied up, and that's the jump ball as Van Otterloo and Halick got tied up. Possession arrow is towards the Cardinals as they'll bring Prignitz back into the game. Krein heads to the bench. Last time these two teams matched up, it was last season. Cardinals picked up a 43-33 win over Algona as Garner, Hayfield, Ventura has won the last two matchups in this series. That was a game the Bulldogs actually led at halftime, but Cardinals held the Bulldogs to just 12 second-half points, including 3 in the fourth quarter, as here's a traveling violation and a turnover by the Cardinals.
Yeah, good defense again by Algona on that press as they got the pass up there. The receiving girl just turned her head around. There's a Bulldog defender right in front of her, and she lost the ball out of bounds.
Tora Solbach into the game. They'll try to trap her at half court. She's in a pickle, and a foul. They got a little physical that time. It was Durr and Hess running at Solbach, and Durr will be the offending party. They had her in little trouble there, Greg, but they bailed her out with the foul.
Yeah, I had a good, tight double team on her, but exactly, bailed her out by just pressuring in, and that's awfully tempting to do when you've got a tight double team.
That's a little bit of a different defensive strategy for the Cardinals than we saw in the first few minutes of this game. We'll see if they try to go back to that here throughout the afternoon and force a few Bulldog turnovers. McLaughlin over to Schmidt. Quick moving around the perimeter to Solbach. Darting inside, finding the cutting McLaughlin. Hooks it up with the right hand, but missed it. Left it a little bit short, and here comes Prignitz out of the pack. Prignitz stopping at the top of the key with 1 minute on the clock. Algona leading by 5 points right now. Up top, Solbach almost jumped a pass, but Hess spun away from her. She threw it into traffic in the lane. It's tipped. It goes right to Gouge. It's knocked away again. Gouge picks it back up. It's tipped again. It rolls to the far side of the court. This possession is turning into a mess for the Cardinals, but Durr is open. Top of the key triple. She can't bank it in, and McLaughlin grabs the rebound. 38 seconds to go in the quarter. And the pass is thrown away. Schmidt was looking for a cutting Price inside, but it's intercepted by Gouge. Cardinals jogging up the court. It's Durr. Durr sidestepping, looking for space, but can't find any. Kennedy Frayne bouncing it inside to Hess. Hess shoots it a little bit too long, and a traveling violation as the Cardinals had Hess trying to get her own miss, but she fell down.
Yeah, a little break for Algona. Tell you what, Garner, Hayfield, Ventura, very aggressive going after loose balls. I think Coach McLaughlin talked about that. They'll shoot a lot of threes, but they really go after those long rebounds.
Yeah, you can see how they're leading the top of Iowa West in rebounds at 41 per game. They're also grabbing 15 offensive boards. That is a ton of second chance opportunities by this Cardinal team. 12 seconds left for Algona. McLaughlin left angle three, swirls out of the cup, no good. Had a decent look at that. And now 5 seconds for the Cardinals. Here comes Krein up the court. Down to 3 seconds. Krein lets it fly, and it comes up with airs. It heads out of bounds. That will bring an end to quarter number one. Well, good three-point shooting gives Algona the early lead in this ball game. It's Algona 15 and Garner, Hayfield, Ventura 10 on Hometown Radio KLGA and the Algona Radio YouTube live stream.
More sports club members making these broadcasts possible on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Algona Livestock Sales. Sales every Monday.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce. 2 sauces for all seasons.
Farm and Home Services. View their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Holmes Animal Clinic. Animals large and small, they love them all.
Signworks for all your signage needs as well as printed shirts, caps, and jackets. Stop in or call 295-9544.
Style Salon. Your salon in Algona. Create yourself.
Dance Connection and Tumbling by Michelle. Passionate about teaching, creative about dance. Visit their studio or danceconnectionbymichelle.com.
TAFE Wellness Center in Algona and Armstrong. Keeping athletes in the game with chiropractic care. Take charge of your health.
All proud sponsors of this broadcast.
Algona using a large dose of Casey Van Otterloo in quarter number 1 to grab a 15-10 lead. Van Otterloo has hit 4 3-pointers. She has 12 points. Greg, good start for the Bulldogs today.
Well, really is hot from the outside, hit 5 out of 9. That first quarter, both teams combined for 8 field goals, 7 of them 3-pointers.
The 3-point ball working well in quarter number 1. Algona up 15-10 as Solbach has the basketball. It's Solbach, Effrington, Perry, Carroll, and Van Otterloo. Different lineup for Coach McLaughlin. A bounce pass inside to Perry, and she lays it in. Assist for Solbach, finished by Perry.
Yeah, I was going to say a pretty assist by Solbach on the drive. Nice bounce pass delivery. Let her right into the basket.
Great vision is now Algona will try to trap Halek. It's Carroll and Solbach. They've got her along the sideline, and the pass is thrown away to Perry. That works to perfection for the Bulldogs. Up to Carroll, or make that Van Otterloo, now top of the key to Effrington. And she flipped it over the head of Perry, was trying to find her in the high post, but Gouge intercepts. And here come the Cardinals. Halek on the left wing. 17-10 in favor of Algona. Start of quarter number 2 as Durr backs up towards the Cardinal logo at half court. Has left around the Prignitz screen, flips it back to the right to Prignitz. Shows the basketball, crosses the foul line. Had that ball in trouble, a little out in front of her. The Bulldogs are poking at it. It rolls away, but it rolls right to Durr, who saves the possession. Durr heading towards the lane, and now a whistle and a foul on the floor. Well, the Bulldogs picked up 1 foul in the first quarter, and that'll be foul number 2 as Solbach picks up her first. Durr inbounds the basketball for the Cardinals. Now Halek and Carroll getting tied up, and there's a jump ball.
Nice job by Carroll flipping that arrow. It's going to stay with the Vikings, or excuse me, the Cardinals rather.
6:57 on the clock, 17-10 Algona. Crine catches the inbounds pass near the far corner and comes around the perimeter to Gouge. Back into the far corner to Durr, now down into the post to Gouge. Perry stays in front of her. Moving the ball around the perimeter now of the Cardinals. Here's a 3 for Crine, missing it left. Tipped into the lane, loose ball, and the Cardinals are able to track down that offensive board of Halek. So fresh 35 on the shot clock for Garner, Hayfield, Ventura. Down into the post to Gouge. Perry staying in front. Perry staying vertical. Gouge has no room to shoot it, so she'll go back outside. Top of the key, Halek working against Carroll. Solbach came in and she pokes the ball away.
Bulldogs doing a nice job of attacking the dribble.
And you can force some turnovers against this Cardinal team. They're turning it over about 23 times per game. That is 8th of 9 teams in the top of Iowa West as far as taking care of the basketball. So if the Bulldogs pick their aggressiveness correctly, they could certainly get some good turnover numbers tonight. Solbach bouncing it down to the short corner to Carroll. Her pass is deflected, and Gouge intercepts it. Here's a turnover the other way. Durr drifts into the far corner, works around the perimeter to Crine. 5:51 on the clock. Crine heading right. Crine gets past Carroll, misses wildly off the glass, but the rebound is batted out to Prignitz, and she underhands it to Halek. Cardinals will have Crine heading to the right around the corner as she hands it to Halek. Halek with 11 on the shot clock. Moves to the foul line. Carroll stays in front. Carroll trying to poke that basketball away desperately. Now Durr driving. Durr fights it up, but it's no good as Solbach had the defense. 17-10 Algona. Up to Effrington as the Bulldogs have the basketball. Bullets it across to Van Otterloo into the post to Carroll. Carroll for the next pass to Effrington. Weaves into the lane. Finds Van Otterloo now down to the baseline. Carroll pump fakes and comes out top to Solbach. Around the perimeter to Effrington as the Bulldogs trying to move it quickly. To the right to Van Otterloo. Now high post to Perry. Faces the bucket and buries a foul line jumper.
That's big if Perry can hit from the free throw line there. That'll really be effective against the zone as well.
I'll tell you what, Alayla Perry has started to expand her range a little bit. I saw her take a couple three-pointers in that game against Bishop Garrigan, and when we were watching that, it was like, well, haha, it's the end of the game, just a three-pointer here or there as the ball is out of bounds and back to Algona. But, in all seriousness, she is really starting to shoot from that high post area, and that is actually a shot now that the defense really has to respect.
And that will make a big difference, because then they can't just pack it in underneath the basket. They've got to respect that.
Perry was the leading scorer last night against St. Edmund for Algona in that 60-21 win. Perry has it around the perimeter. She gives to Solbach. Now McLaughlin passing it right to Effrington. Effrington takes a quick glimpse of the bucket and hands it back off to Van Otterloo with 4:28 on the clock. Solbach looking inside and flipping it left to McLaughlin. Bulldogs continue to work it around the perimeter. Perry hovering in that high post, shifting with every pass. As Solbach has it just to the right of center. Solbach having it poked at by Durr, but she hangs onto the ball, drives in, flips it inside to the cutting Perry, but it sails over her head as Krein has it. Here's Krein for the Cardinals coming the other way. Krein working the baseline, dealing to a wide open Hess in the lane, and she'll lay it up and in.
Yeah, nice assist there from the baseline side.
And Hess initially dropped that pass, but she was so wide open she could pick it back up and still be open for the easy layup. 19-12 in favor of Algona. Scoring has slowed down here in quarter number 2. It was 15-10 Algona after 1. Right now, Bulldogs have a 4-2 scoring edge with 3:42 on the clock. A three-point ball, Van Otterloo, and a rare miss this afternoon for the sophomore. She gets it back. She'll try again. This one rattles off, no good. Had a little closer look the second time, but the Cardinals get the rebound. Far side of the court, it's Hess. Hess with the jumper just inside the three-point line. Off the rim, and Perry had to chase down the rebound, but she got it. 3:20 on the clock. McLaughlin striding into the front court, having the ball poked at, coming outside to Van Otterloo. Flipping it right to Effrington. Soft pump fake, and now back up top to Solbach. So far, McLaughlin's been held off the scoreboard for Algona, but again, Van Otterloo leading the way of 12 as Perry driving inside. She drew the contact, and she got fouled.
Now you can see the zone of Garner, Hayfield, Ventura has crept up a little bit. The top of the zone is coming out to go after those three-point shooters, which that time opened up the lane for the drive for Perry. Nice job, got her to the free throw line.
Alayla Perry will shoot 2 here. She's been about 42% from the line this year. That's been a little bit of an area of struggle, but she buries the first one, and Algona's up 20-12. Bulldogs as a whole, though, a very good foul shooting team. They're taking advantage of their opportunities, shooting 65% at the stripe. Bulldogs will have Schmidt, Van Otterloo, McLaughlin, Perry, and Effrington as she'll miss the second foul shot, and the rebound is tracked down by Durr. Down to 2:56 to go in half number 1, 20-12 Algona. Into the high post, Kennedy Frayne. Now comes outside to Halick. A flip over to the right. It's Halick now for the basketball. Halick spins. She has all kinds of pressure in her face as she bounces to Hess. Durr on the left wing into the near corner now. And now back to Durr. 10 on the shot clock. Durr backing up towards the Cardinal logo. McLaughlin playing good defense into the far corner. Halick. Halick driving, dealing into the lane to Gouge. It rolls away from her. 2 on the shot clock, 1 on the shot clock, and the Cardinals are out of time.
Yeah, good defense. You don't see the shot clock really cause violation very often, but it did there. Good, consistent defense by the Bulldogs.
So Algona will get it back with 2:23 on the clock, and they are up by 8 in half number 1. McLaughlin crosses half court. That zone keeping an eye on her as Van Otterloo passes it left to Schmidt. Now to Effrington. Effrington looking, and the Bulldogs continue to move the ball around the perimeter and shift that zone defense. Far side of the court, Effrington bouncing it into the corner to McLaughlin. McLaughlin driving baseline. McLaughlin wanted to reverse it, but dropped the ball, picked it back up and kicks it out. Schmidt over to Effrington. Effrington passes up the 3, finds Perry deep in the post. Perry turns and missed the shot. Tapped out by McLaughlin, but taken by Hess. And then knocked out of bounds off the Cardinals. I think that was Effrington reaching that in and knocking it off the knee of a Cardinal player out of bounds. Cardinals will bring Bella Scheisel into the game for the first time this afternoon as Coach McLaughlin wants a timeout. 1:49 on the clock, so we will take this timeout with Coach McLaughlin and come back in 60 seconds on Home Country Radio, KLGZ, and the Algona Radio YouTube live stream.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these sports club members.
American Glass, for all your glass needs, think American.
Farm Bureau financial agents Dave Beisch, Jason Brace, Daniel Foth, and Michael Tull.
Chemco Tires. They're all you need to know about tires and service.
Wykert Realtors, the 515 Agency, a fresh approach to real estate.
Feed Mill Coffee Company, where community connects.
Iowa Lakes Community College, your community, your college.
PMC Advantage Insurance Services, insuring our neighbors for over 80 years.
Walker Chiropractic and Wellness, caring for Algona, Sway City, and the surrounding areas with chiropractic, nutritional, and physical therapy services.
All proud sponsors of this broadcast.
It is Algona 20, Garner, Hayfield, Ventura 12 here on this Saturday afternoon. Tyler Lance alongside Greg Stewart. And Greg, we've definitely seen a little slowdown in the offense on both sides in quarter number 2, but the Bulldogs still hang on to this 8-point advantage.
Yeah, the first quarter really taking advantage of the three-point shot both ways, and Bulldogs able to hit 5 of them in that first quarter. But since then, the zones have adjusted a little bit, and both teams taking a little more time trying to get the ball inside.
Schmidt has the basketball near the Cardinal logo at midcourt. Just over a minute and a half to go until halftime. 20-12 Algona. They led by 5 at the end of the first quarter. They've expanded that lead up to 8 points. Van Otterloo looking to drive, and she was fouled. Bella Scheisel will lead the offending party.
Still a ways from 101. That was the 4th team foul on the Cardinals, so just a minute and a half left here in the first half.
Yeah, very low foul afternoon so far, as you said, especially for two teams that really like to get inside and scrap for rebounds. But they have let them play this afternoon, and right now just a combined 6 fouls between the teams. Up top to Van Otterloo with 1:15 on the clock. Now to the right to Schmidt. Over to the left to Effrington, now down to the baseline to McLaughlin. Out top to Van Otterloo, quick movement to Effrington. Corner to McLaughlin, she'll let it fly. Off the back of the cup, no good, and rebounded by Scheisel. Scheisel weaves away from the Bulldog defenders, gets it into the front court. Into the lane, a lot of traffic. It's off the hands of Hess. It's out of bounds, and there's a Cardinal turnover.
That's turnover number 9 for the Cardinals. Just 3 turnovers for the Bulldogs, so that's been a factor so far.
As taking care of the basketball is a big deal for Algona, of course. Bulldog fans do recall that game right before winter break against Clear Lake. The turnovers, a huge issue in the first half, but
yeah,
as you said, that has not been the case this afternoon. Bulldogs taking good care of the basketball. 38 seconds to go in the quarter. A 20-second difference between game clock and shot clock. Into the far corner to Schmidt for Algona. Now up top to Effrington. Surveying the defense. She'll start right of the lane and give it to McLaughlin. Now flipping it left to Van Otterloo. Back into the corner to Schmidt. 4 on the shot clock, 3 on the shot clock. Into Perry. She'll fight it up and she'll put it in.
Boy, he couldn't design that to work out any better. Finally got it inside to Perry. Puts it up right before the horn.
7 points for Layla Perry, and now a steal by McLaughlin. Here she comes. She's in the lane. Turns 360, shoots it up. Missed it off the front of the cup. No good. And here comes Scheisel after the rebound. Scheisel on the push. 4 seconds, 3 seconds. Misses wildly off the glass. Down to 1 second. Ball's tied up in the lane, and the Cardinals cannot get one more shot off before halftime. It is Algona 22, Garner, Hayfield, Ventura 12 as we head into the halftime break. We'll take a quick timeout and look at those halftime numbers coming up next on Home Country Radio, KLGZ, and the Algona Radio YouTube live stream.
At Security State Bank, we realize each customer has a unique set of needs and goals. That's why we place a greater value on providing outstanding customer service. All products and services are designed for customers within our local community. We value each customer that walks through our door and wants to give them the personalized attention they deserve. Find out why Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne is your partner in community banking. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
With over a decade of experience, Jake Ingalls Electric is here to handle any electrical job you could possibly have. From anything agricultural related to complex commercial wiring to something simple like installing a new outlet in your home, Jake Ingalls Electric does it all. Have your wiring done right and call Jake at 515-320-4286. Jake Ingalls Electric, shockingly good service.
More Sport Club members making these broadcasts possible on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Reeb's Wicked Good Bar and Grill. For wicked good food, drinks, and service, you gotta go to Reeb's.
CB Grain Solutions, satisfaction guaranteed.
New Way K&H Co-op, delivering exceptional value through knowledge and innovation.
Dump it. They do the dirty work so you don't have to.
Albert Electric, flip the switch to Albert Electric.
Grassmasters, growing satisfied customers.
Greg Penny and Company CPA, certified public accountants, where everyone counts.
Yemlin Builders and Apartments, quality apartments for rent, beauty and craftsmanship that will never go out of style.
Daylight Donuts, open early with delicious donuts and great coffee.
All sponsors of this broadcast.
I loved playing high school sports. I loved the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, all the pageantry, and I wanted to keep playing. But I graduated. No colleges called, and neither did the pros. So, to stay close to the game I loved, I decided to become a high school official. You know, a referee. When I played high school sports, I learned the importance of integrity, good sportsmanship, and respect for the rules. Now, as a high school official, I get to help model these same values to others. Maybe the colleges and the pros didn't call, but the kids in Iowa did. And now, I'm enjoying the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, and all the pageantry of high school sports all over again.
Interested in becoming a licensed high school official? Go to highschoolofficials.com to learn more and begin the application process.
More sports club members making these broadcasts possible on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Kasuth Regional Health Center, make KRHC your home for healthcare.
North Iowa Appliance Center, Highway 18 East Algona, where they sell the best and service the rest.
Tom Eischen Sales, your store in the country, Highway 18 West.
Algona Plumbing and Heating, where a good flush always beats a full house.
Ruhnke Brothers Full Service, experience the Ruhnke Brothers difference for all of your auto service and repair needs.
Erpelding and Boyd CPAs, they're not just about taxes.
Erpelding Excavating Enterprise, let them take care of your grading, excavating, and drainage needs.
Hy-Vee, use the Fuel Saver card, fill your cart, fuel your car.
AK's Chrome Kitchen, when you come in, your family.
All sports club members bringing you this broadcast.
Halftime here on Home Country Radio, KLGZ Algona, as well as the Algona Radio YouTube stream. It's the Bulldogs leading the Garner Hayfield Ventura Cardinals by a score of 22-12 right now as we are at the halftime break. I'm Tyler Lance alongside Greg Stewart. And Greg, two important things for the Bulldogs in the first half. They looked very under control throughout the course of this game, and also defensively they're playing well. Anytime you can hold the opponent to 12 points and a half, you're always set up for success. So a couple positives coming out of half number one for Algona.
Yeah, I'll start with the latter point there, the defense. I think Coach McLaughlin talked about how important that is season long. It was last night. He said they were missing shots, but they could work on their defense, and they made that pay out for them. That's the one part of the game you really can control, and so it's really big, and they have done a nice job holding Garner Hayfield Ventura just 21% shooting there in the first half. They made only 4 out of 19 shots, and also got 10 turnovers on the Cardinals. So a big advantage there for the Bulldogs defensively. But offensively, too, like I said, did a nice job of moving the ball, nice spacing there in the first quarter, got some open looks. They had a few in the second quarter. They didn't go down there. But also in the second quarter, got the ball inside a couple times. Didn't always score, but did a couple times with Perry, and have been able to make that pay off for them as well. Bulldogs 8 out of 21 from the field, 38% here at half. But the big part of that was 5 3-point makes there in that first quarter. A great start. The one part of the game that Garner Hayfield Ventura is a strength of theirs, and has been shown here again in the first half, is rebounding. I've got them down for 6 offensive boards in that first half. So out of their 15 misses, they got 6 of them, a second opportunity. The Bulldogs I've got down for just 1 offensive rebound so far. So maybe something could be tightened up there a little bit in the second half, but overall defense and efficient offense so far for the Bulldogs have given them a 10-point lead here at half.
Bulldogs are led by Casey Van Otterloo, who has 12 points on those 4 3-pointers. Alayla Perry has chipped in 7 for Algona. On the Cardinal side of things right now, it's Rebecca Haylook with 5 points, and not a whole lot else offensively besides that in their 12-point first half. But it's Algona 22, Garner, Hayfield, Ventura 12, and a nice start on the road for the Bulldogs. You know, they, like Coach McLaughlin said, played a couple tough games right before winter break, including one on the road at Clear Lake. And when you're on the road, you're trying to bring that energy, like we said, early in the ball game. And boy, nothing fires with the team quite like Casey Van Otterloo swishing those early 3-pointers. You spot yourself a nice lead. Garner, Hayfield, Ventura is not an explosive offensive team, so you get to that 5, 6, 7, 8-point lead, and that'll take them at least a few minutes to get back into from that. They're not a team that'll strike very quickly, so that 3-point ball gave Algona the early energy in this game and has let them kind of sit on that lead throughout the first half.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that energy factor and the fact that you're playing back-to-back nights or back-to-back-to-back nights, as the case for GHV. But yeah, you want something to lift you up. The other thing is the time of the day. It always used to be that if you played on Saturday, it was also a Saturday night game. The trend recently has been if you play on Saturday, it's a mid-afternoon game, and there's an adjustment there as well. In your routine at home with getting up and a little bit of lunch, but you got to be in the bus because you're going to play basketball right away. So sometimes it's kind of awkward to kind of get things rolling, but certainly Casey's 3-point shots there in the first quarter were a big lift for the Bulldogs, no doubt.
And I don't know how many Saturday games the Cardinals have played. It's possible they've played 0 Saturday games up to this point, but if you look at the Bulldogs, they played a Saturday afternoon game against Charles City. They played a Saturday afternoon game against Bishop Garrigan. So even though this isn't normal, it is probably more normal for Algona than it is for Garner, Hayfield, Ventura. And even if that's just a small advantage, in a game between two teams that are relatively even talent-wise, that can be something that can swing just a slight margin towards your advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something that's been kind of interesting. Anybody that's been around for a while and watching high school basketball, the game limit in Iowa used to be 18, and you rarely saw people play on Saturdays unless it was a makeup. Well, then they went to 21. With the time frame you have to get those 21 games, you got to go to some off nights or Saturdays, and thus the number of Saturday games has really increased probably in the last 5 years or so.
So on this Saturday afternoon, it's Algona 22 and Garner, Hayfield, Ventura 12. As the second half is coming up in a couple of minutes, we'll step aside, get a couple quick words from our sponsors, and bring you the second half of basketball action next on Home Country Radio, KLGZ, and the Algona Radio YouTube live stream.
For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
More Sports Club members making these broadcasts possible on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Kasuth Regional Health Center. Make KRHC your home for healthcare.
North Iowa Appliance Center, Highway 18 East Algona, where they sell the best and service the rest.
Tom Eischen Sales, your store in the country. Highway 18 West.
Algona Plumbing and Heating, where a good flush always beats a full house.
Runkey Brothers Full Service. Experience the Runkey Brothers difference for all of your auto service and repair needs.
Purpleding and Boyd CPAs. They're not just about taxes.
Purpleding Excavating Enterprise. Let them take care of your grading, excavating, and drainage needs.
Hy-Vee. Use the Fuel Saver card. Fill your cart, fuel your car.
AK's Chrome Kitchen. When you come in, your family.
All Sports Club members bringing you this broadcast.
We head to the third quarter here from Garner Hayfield Ventura High School, as it's the Algona Bulldogs 22 and the Garner Hayfield Ventura Cardinals 12. I'm Tyler Lance, my partner's Greg Stewart. Greg, a good start for Algona, but they've got to keep the defense up in the second half, and if they can get back to a few more 3-point shots that they had in the first quarter, that would certainly be to their cause as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You come out in the second half with a lead, you definitely don't want it to decrease. You want to just hold it and slightly build it ahead if you can, and kind of put this one away early, but Bulldogs are going to start out with the ball, see if they have good opening possession.
Algona heading from right to left on the radio dial to start the second half. It'll be Effrington handling the ball. Bulldogs have their lineup of Carroll, Effrington, Perry, McLaughlin, and Van Otterloo this afternoon starters in. Down to McLaughlin along the baseline, backs up a little bit, puts it off the window and scores it.
Well, minor thing there, but it was major, and that was just a half step back by McLaughlin so she could see the glass and able to get just enough angle to get that ball up and in.
Yeah, just enough space, but she knew what she had as Cardinals will try to answer back. Bulldogs doubling up right now as Prignitz fires a free from the corner, and she buries it. That is Prignitz's first field goal of the afternoon. Prignitz has been averaging 11 points per game coming into today. She has her first three, and it's 24-15. Van Otterloo drifts towards the right and flips it over to Effrington. Effrington weaves back to the left. Looking at that 2-3 zone, they find Perry in the high post outside of Van Otterloo. Left wide open for a three-pointer. Shot that one long. Perry got the miss, though, and she was fouled on the way up. Well, Greg, you said in the first half, Bulldogs had just one offensive rebound. Perry is an offensive rebounding machine at times, and that'll be her first offensive board of the game.
Well, it's a big one there. Make sure you get on the weak side on those three-point shots, because the shot, if it misses, is probably coming over.
Perry's first foul shot rattles off as the score stays 24-15. You know, these two teams almost matched up in the playoffs last year. Both teams had very heartbreaking first-round losses. Of course, Bulldog fans know about the loss to Forest City in that opening game as McLaughlin almost rebounded the missed free throw. Cardinals played Pocahontas area in the first round on the other side of the bracket, and then they lost 37-34. So this was very nearly last year's second-round playoff matchup if a couple other points swing around.
Yeah.
So both teams are kind of thinking winning a playoff game this year is the next step for both these programs. Van Otterloo up top to Effrington, now back to Van Otterloo on the left wing. 6:39 on the clock, over to McLaughlin. Weaves into the lane, floats from just inside the foul line, and she buries it.
I'm glad to see that. Lauren had a little struggle with shooting there in the first half, but that was a nice shot there.
Right now, 4 points for McLaughlin. As it's Halick crossing the lane, Carroll reaches in there and she forces another jump ball. Boy, Carroll's been active this afternoon forcing jump balls.
Yeah, she has. A little fumble on the dribble there, but Carroll very alert and locked down her hand to tie that one up. She's coming out of the game right now, but good job of switching the arrow.
She'll get some high fives from the bench after that opportunistic play. Cardinals will lob it into Gouge just beyond the three-point line. Najee Price defends. Over to Durr. She'll fire the three. Rattles out of the cup, no good. Price boxes out for the rebound, and then Halick reaches in and she fouled Price.
Big rebound again there for Algona. Again, since that was a big factor of the Cardinals trying to stay in this one, is getting second chances.
Bulldogs right now with Effrington, McLaughlin, Solbach, Schmidt, and Price. Solbach bullets it up to Price. They break the presses. They get it over to Effrington. 26-15 is the Algona advantage right now. Now Solbach will bring it back up top and reset for the Bulldog offense. Drifts towards the left now, heads to the right, bouncing it to Effrington. Effrington lobbing it into Price. It's a little bit too tall and it's out of bounds, but it was touched by Greta Gouge for the Cardinals.
Pass just a little bit high, and Gouge went up for it, knocked it out of bounds.
So Effrington will trigger the inbounds play. Oh, McLaughlin popped wide open in the lane, and she lays it in. That worked to perfection. McLaughlin started that play very casually, moving really slow, and then just kind of popped open in the last minute. She lulled the Cardinal defense to sleep, and now she has 6 points. Right angle three-pointer by Krein. Misses off to the right, and Price tracks down the rebound. 28-15 Algona. Schmidt to McLaughlin. McLaughlin will try three-pointer, and she hits it.
Well, tell you what, Lauren McLaughlin struggled a little bit the first half. She's not right now with 9 points here in the second half.
Coach Adam Ernest and the Cardinals call a timeout. Bulldogs keeping their foot on the gas pedal, 31-15 with 5:29 on the clock here on Home Country KLGZ.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio. Brought to you by these sports club members.
Farmers State Bank is proud to be a part of our community for over 125 years with offices in Algona, Whittemore, and West Bend.
Jensen Chiropractic. Care for the whole family.
Stroman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Phil's Auto and Truck Repair. Service is the difference.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
Oak Crest Funeral Services, celebrating a life lived.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
Algona Frame and Auto Body, collision specialist, a total commitment to excellence.
Water Connection, from softeners to bottled water and service, call 295-SOFT.
Algona Pizza Ranch, there's so much to love.
All bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
It's Algona 31 and Garner Hayfield Ventura 15 after the three-point ball by Lauren McLaughlin. And Greg, just like you said, the Bulldogs have kept the intensity up to start the second half.
Yeah, they've hit 4 of 5 from the field, including 3 in a row here from Lauren McLaughlin.
McLaughlin has 9 points. Casey Van Otterloo with 12 for Algona, the 2 leading scorers right now for the team. Cardinals have the basketball. Durr, shadowed by 2 defenders. Down towards the post to Gouge. Price staying in front of her and now back up beyond the perimeter to Durr. 5:10 on the clock. Cardinals have the ball with Halick. Halick trying to spin away from Solbach. Stops just inside the three-point line, and she'll bounce it back outside to Durr. Durr weaves into the paint, dishing it into the corner. Prignitz. She'll fire up a three-pointer, but left it a little short. Rebound is batted, and it is chased down for an offensive board by Halick. Halick rotates for a three-point try over to Durr, but she missed it. Offensive board again. Prignitz tried to fight it through contact, but it got blocked. So 3 opportunities, but no points for the Cardinals, and now here come the Bulldogs. Everington gives it to Schmidt. Schmidt heads towards the left. The Algona sophomore picks up her dribble and gives it to Solbach. Solbach dribbles to the left hand, now backs it up and drifts towards the right. 4:30 on the game clock, down to 16 on the shot clock. Schmidt, the 5'11" sophomore. She's in a double team. They try to peel it away, but a reach in and a foul. Durr was the guilty party that time, kind of came around the end of Schmidt that time and just reached right through her and drew the foul.
Right in front of the official there, good call. 3rd team foul. Bulldogs still no team fouls here in the 3rd quarter. I think they only had a couple in the first half. Bulldogs playing good defense, but clean.
You know, early in the game, Garner Hayfield Ventura tried to trap the Algona point guard, and I thought they were going to do that a little more here in the second half as Price bangs it off the glass and scores, and now it's 33-15. They've tried to force turnovers in other ways, but the Bulldogs have just been good stewards of the basketball this game, as now it's a throwaway by the Cardinals. Price has it into the corner, McLaughlin. She'll drive the baseline. Oh, she threads it to Price. Price off the window, and she scores it.
Well, that's impressive because Lauren McLaughlin, 32nd timeout here by Garner Hayfield. McLaughlin had a wide open look from the corner, didn't take it, drove into the basket when the defense picked her up, gave up the ball to the wide open Price underneath the basket. Bulldogs right now 6 out of the first 7 from the field here in the second half.
That was a very unselfish play by McLaughlin, certainly to give up that ball, because a lot of times you're driving and you're thinking either make the bucket or at least draw the foul and go to the line for 2, but they had to abandon Price to pick up McLaughlin, and she found her wide open, and right now Price with 4 points, McLaughlin with the big assist, and the Bulldogs, all of a sudden, they have a 20-point lead. You know, you blink, they're up by 10 at halftime, and now 35-15.
Well, a lot of kids, naturally fall in love with a three-point shot, and I was really expecting to go up there when McLaughlin's wide open in the corner. But good for her that she passed up, get a higher percentage shot as she did for a teammate.
Well, the Bulldogs have already scored more in less than 3 quarters than they did last year against the Cardinals, as there's a push in Algona's first foul of the half. Algona lost 43-33 against Garner Hayfield Ventura last season, but they are up to 35 points as Najee Price picks up her first foul of the afternoon. Durr from the baseline, just to the near side, looking for Prignitz to pop open. Prignitz pretty well covered, so she'll bounce it into Krein instead. Back outside to Durr, now Prignitz. A deep three-pointer, but left it short. It pops into the lane to Solbach. Here come the Bulldogs. Solbach with a little pace into the front court, bouncing it to Everton, far side. Around the perimeter to McLaughlin, and over to the right to Schmidt. Far corner Solbach, now Price is down on the post. Back outside to Schmidt. Solbach, she'll fire up a three-pointer, and she'll swish it.
Bulldogs are doing a nice job of moving the ball. Again, good passing there, and got a good open look for Solbach.
That's Solbach's second made 3 of the season as she almost jumped a pass, and now a traveling violation by the Cardinals as Hess went crashing towards the lane. Boy, this game is starting to rip apart at the seams for the Cardinals. This has been a dominant 3rd quarter by Algona.
Yeah, I think maybe one of the most dominant quarters I've seen all year. Talked about protecting that 10-point lead, trying to hold on to it and build it, but wow.
Now the Cardinals look to throw a little 2-2-1 at Algona, but they get it across half court. Solbach drifts towards the center and gives it up top to McLaughlin. Over to the right to Effrington as we're down to 2:56 to go in quarter number 3 on this Saturday afternoon. Effrington down the lane, bouncing it to Perry, who just returned. Now out to Solbach. Van Otterloo left to McLaughlin. She's in the near corner. Over to our left. Now back to the top of the key, Solbach. To the right to McLaughlin. High post to Perry. 8 on the shot clock. Out to Van Otterloo. Her 3-point ball is on the way, but it's a little bit short. It pinballs into the lane. Perry picks it up, and a jump ball is forced as Haylick tied her up.
Yeah, good job, Perry. That's going to go down as an offensive board as the Bulldogs have the possession here.
Perry's been averaging about 9 points and 6 boards per game this season for the Bulldogs. As McLaughlin gets it inside to Perry, center of the paint, trying to keep that back foot. And I think they're going to call 3 seconds here against Algona.
Yeah, violation. You don't see Culver Alpha. And when Perry got that ball right back, probably should have just went up with it at that point. But I don't know if she expected it maybe, and end up with a 3-second violation.
2:25 on the clock. Cardinals have the basketball back, but Algona leading 38-15 right now. Just to the right of us, Kennedy Frame. Now it's over to Durr. Durr brings it back towards the top of the key as she flips it left to Haylick. Haylick with 5 points for the Cardinals, leading the way. Now Gouge working inside. Kicks it back out to Krein. Down to 10 on the shot clock for the Cardinals. Into the lane, Gouge. She's at the foul line. Flips it back towards the right to Krein. Krein, a contested 3-point try. McLaughlin to the defense. And it's rebounded by Van Otterloo. And she's fouled on the rebound. That foul's going to be picked up by number 10, Kennedy Frayne, her first. That is number 4 on the Cardinals, just 1 for Algona in the second half. Perry up to Solbach as we're down to 1:51 to go in this one. I said this at halftime, Greg, but this is just such a controlled effort by Algona. Perry outside to Van Otterloo. They are so patiently waiting. They're taking great shots this whole second half as Perry's in the lane. Hooks it with the right hand, bounces it off the back of the cup, and gets the friendly drop.
Yeah, there it is. Once it goes in there, take it up. She's got a size advantage inside.
9 points now for Layla Perry, 9 for McLaughlin, 12 for Van Otterloo for Algona, as Durr keeps the ball away from trouble. And Perry rejects the shot. Gouge tried to shoot it from the baseline, and Layla Perry says, I hope you kept the receipts for that basketball because I'm sending it back to where it came from.
Yeah, nice timing there by Perry to get that block out of bounds.
40-15 Algona. Cardinals will have Durr to inbound it from the baseline. Layla Perry, first in the North Central Conference in blocked shots, both last season and this season. Picking one up there. Bulldogs now up by 25 points. They've had a 15-point advantage in this third quarter. Gouge at the edge of the lane, working against Perry, and she traveled. Tried to use a big pivot that time, but a little bit too big, and another turnover by the Cardinals.
Yeah, Gouge is really uncomfortable, I think, with the defense that the Bulldogs are playing on her.
Effrington up the court to Perry, down to 1 minute to go in the quarter. Perry driving into the lane, spins, misses off the glass, got her own miss, puts it back up, and she got fouled as Layla Perry will shoot 2.
Well, if you're going to miss, that's the way you want to do it. Stay right there with it and go back up and fight, get that ball back, and goes back to the line now where she missed 2 just a little bit ago.
This has been a very active second half on the glass for Layla Perry. At least 2 or 3 offensive rebounds as she'll fire that one up and she'll put it in. 41-15 now in favor of Algona.
This will be the Bulldogs' 6th free throw coming up, all by Layla Perry. Not really surprising when you're playing against a zone, so the only contact probably coming when you get it inside.
41-15, Kaylee Carroll into the game for Algona. The second foul shot rolls off to the right. Cardinals have the rebound, down to 53 seconds to go in the quarter. It's Krein surveying the defense as she'll flip it over to the left to Haylick. Down to 45 seconds to go. Haylick hands it off to Durr. She'll back it up into a Cardinal logo and reset. Prignitz is streaking over to the right. Effrington staying on her. Down to 37 seconds to go in the quarters. It's flipped over to the right to Haylick. Haylick looking for the baseline. Wants to reverse. Perry stays in front. Perry got another tip. She bothered that shot on the way up, and here come the Bulldogs.
Well, she did. Had her deep. Really nowhere to go.
Into the post to Carroll. Had it stripped away from behind, and Prignitz will peel that one away. Ball is rolling towards the sideline, and that one is heading out of bounds. So
excuse me, Tyler. The Cardinals really scrappy, aren't they? Stay low, and boy, if you put the ball on the floor at all, they're going to go after it.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Prignitz not afraid to get the floor burn there, trying to peel it away, but the Bulldogs catch a break as it went out of bounds. So with 14 seconds left, the shot clock is off, and Efferton will burn a little clock up near half court. She's standing on the Cardinal logo right now. She drifts towards the right, down to 6 seconds. She finds McLaughlin, back to Efferton, a three, goes around the Perry screen. That opens up a three-point ball, off the back of the cup, no good. And that is how quarter number 3 will come to an end. But a dominant third quarter performance by Algona. They have blown this game open and taken a 41-15 lead heading to the fourth quarter on Home Country Radio KLGZ and the Algona Radio YouTube live stream.
More Sports Club members making these broadcasts possible on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Kasuth Regional Health Center. Make KRHC your home for healthcare.
North Iowa Appliance Center, Highway 18 East Algona, where they sell the best and service the rest.
Tom Eischen Sales, your store in the country. Highway 18 West.
Algona Plumbing and Heating, where a good flush always beats a full house.
Runkey Brothers Full Service. Experience the Runkey Brothers difference for all of your auto service and repair needs.
Purpleding and Boyd CPAs. They're not just about taxes.
Purpleding Excavating Enterprise. Let them take care of your grading, excavating, and drainage needs.
Hy-Vee. Use the Fuel Saver card. Fill your cart, fuel your car.
AK's Chrome Kitchen. When you come in, your family.
All Sports Club members bringing you this broadcast.
It was all Algona in quarter number 3 as the Bulldogs had a 19-3 scoring advantage over the Cardinals, and they have now taken a 41-15 lead as we head into the final 8 minutes of girls basketball action this afternoon. I'm Tyler Lance alongside Greg Stewart. The Cardinals will have the ball to start this fourth quarter as Prignitz has it, sidestepping into a three-pointer, and it's an air ball, and it's heading out of bounds. It has been that kind of afternoon for Garner, Hayfield, Ventura.
That last quarter here, third quarter, Garner, Hayfield, Ventura made just 1 out of 11 shots. Now 1 out of 12 in this half.
A dominating run by Algona, and it doesn't always feel like it because the Bulldogs play such a patient half-court game. It's not eye-popping pace or anything like that, but that was a huge run in the third quarter by Algona to really command the rest of this ball game as the Cardinals force a turnover, and here comes Durr, bouncing it into the lane to Gouge. Pivots 360. McLaughlin knocks the pass away, but it's taken by Durr. Heads into the lane. McLaughlin reaches in. She'll tie her up, and that'll be a jump ball.
That should be Algona's, I believe, shouldn't it? I thought, yeah, it is.
There it is. Yep, they were keeping them on the wrong side initially, but yes, that's Algona's basketball. There have been so many jump balls this afternoon. It's kind of hard to keep them straight, but Bulldogs will get it back after that one. 7:15 on the clock. Impressive defensive performance by the Algona Bulldogs. We'll see what happens here in the fourth, but this is certainly tracking to be the best defensive game Algona's played when you consider the level of competition and just the overall performance as McLaughlin has it stripped away and Durr comes out for the basketball. Second night of the back-to-back as well for Algona as a left-wing triple is missed by Krein. She left it short, and Solbach comes out of the crowd of the ball. Cardinals, as we mentioned, they're on their third night in a row of basketball, or in this case, afternoon, as Carroll pivots 360, comes out to Van Otterloo. She'll shoot the three, but it's off the back of the rim. McLaughlin uses the long arms to haul in the rebound. Outside Solbach over to Efferton. Now flips it into the post to McLaughlin. McLaughlin going to work. McLaughlin powers it up. She put it down, and she got fouled.
Good job of protecting her shot with her body that time and kept the defender away. Chance at a three-point shot. First girl other than Perry to shoot a free throw today for Algona.
And that is foul number 3 against Gouge as McLaughlin will head to the line. This season, McLaughlin an 80% free throw shooter. And could not get the friendly bounce on that one as it took a couple hops on the rim, and the score stays 43-15 in favor of Algona here in quarter number 4. Into the corner to Durr. 6:20 on the clock. You know, Greg, I'll tell you what, sometimes you hit winter break at a good time or a bad time. You know, if you have some momentum going, as Durr sidesteps into a three-pointer, misses it off the back of the cup. If you're hitting it on a big winning streak, you always kind of feel like, oh, man, I wish it wasn't winter break. As Van Otterloo comes into the front court, McLaughlin working the baseline, looking inside and can't find anyone as she bounces it out to Solbach. But when you have those back-to-back losses to Bishop Garrigan and Clear Lake, especially just a poor performance against Clear Lake for the Bulldogs, it really felt like winter break hit at the right time, and they have shown last night and tonight they've tuned up a lot of their mistakes.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that. It was good timing for Algona this year.
Yeah, it was a good first part of the season, but they ran out a little bit of steam in the last two as ball is tipped out of bounds. Bulldogs will keep it with 5 seconds on the shot clock. And of course, part of that was the competition. Obviously, Garrigan, the defending 1A state champions, and Clear Lake, the defending North Central Conference champions. But I know the Bulldogs came out of both of those games feeling like they did not have their A game either of those nights.
Yeah, especially I think against Clear Lake. They really felt that first half they just did not play well.
Solbach, a right angle three, left it a little bit short. It trickles out of bounds and will go back to the Cardinals. You never want to say teams arrived at their A game because you always want to leave room for improvement, but this is pretty close to an A game this afternoon from what I've seen from Algona this season.
Yeah, it's been a really solid effort. Nice ball movement all night long, and the shot selection there in the third quarter was exceptional.
It's a little reminiscent to me of the second half of that Humboldt game as a short corner jumper is knocked through by Krein. That was a close game at halftime earlier this season against Humboldt, but the Bulldogs really blew it open in the second half, and a relatively similar story this afternoon. Schmidt on the right side flips it left to Solbach, down to 5 minutes to go in this ball game. Schmidt on the right wing now up top to Solbach. She'll let another three-pointer fly, and she'll swish another one. Well, Solbach came into this afternoon with one made three-pointer. She has hit 2 of them, and the Bulldogs are up 46-17. The three-point shooting numbers are going to look good for Algona at the end of this afternoon. A lot of that coming from the first quarter, but a couple here down the stretch as Gouge is down low, fights up a wild shot, and Price grabs the rebound. 4:33 on the clock. 46-17 Algona as Solbach has it up to at the top of the key. Flipping it right to Schmidt, now back to the left to Solbach. Left wing to Effrington, now Perry down low. Perry's in a sandwich, tries to pass away from it. Almost threw it away, but Effrington got it. And we're going to have a whistle here, and I believe Coach McLaughlin wants a timeout with 4:18 on the clock and a 46-17 lead. Timeout will be called. It's a full timeout, so we'll take it as well. Algona leading 46-17 on Home Country Radio, KLGZ.
For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
At Security State Bank, we realize each customer has a unique set of needs and goals. That's why we place a greater value on providing outstanding customer service. All products and services are designed for customers within our local community. We value each customer that walks through our door and wants to give them the personalized attention they deserve. Find out why Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne is your partner in community banking. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
Algona 46, Garner, Hayfield, Ventura 17 as the Bulldogs come out of the timeout. Casey Van Otterloo gives it to Effrington. Right now, Price, Perry, McLaughlin, Effrington, and Van Otterloo on the court as the ball is thrown behind Van Otterloo and out of bounds for a turnover.
Bulldogs done a nice job really taking care of the ball tonight. That's just the 7th turnover, 3 of them here in the last quarter. They had only 4 in the first 3 quarters of this game.
Bulldogs had 3 double-digit scores yesterday. They have 3 double-digit scores this afternoon. Van Otterloo 12, McLaughlin 11, Perry 10. With the basketball now, it's the Cardinals. Halick fights up a wild shot that's headed out of bounds. Last touched by Algona with 3:51 on the clock. But this is definitely a good momentum builder for Algona. You look at the non-conference schedule. A lot of the Bulldogs' toughest games left in the season are non-conference games. Of course, they'll have Spencer coming up 1 week from today. That'll be quite possibly the toughest one left. Clear Lake in the conference is going to be a tough one as well. But a lot of North Central Conference teams coming up, which the Bulldogs were able to defeat last season, and they know they're capable of playing with. So a good momentum builder this afternoon as the Bulldogs have it, but it's knocked away. Here come the Cardinals. There's a free run out by Prignitz, and she lays it up and in. That's one big factor this afternoon, how good of a job the Bulldogs have done on Prignitz. That was just her 5th point, came in averaging 11, and she was shut out throughout the entire first half. McLaughlin on the left wing, 3:14 to go in this one. Bulldogs in control, 46-19. Their 2-game losing streak against the Cardinals is set to come to an end this afternoon as Van Otterloo catches, makes the pass to Efferington, now around the perimeter to McLaughlin. Price in the post, tried to pass up top, but it got knocked away as Frayne got in the passing lane. Quick burst up the court, it's Hess going to the bucket and laying it in. 46-21 as Hess now has 4 points for the Cardinals. Bulldogs get it away from the press. Perry crosses the court to Van Otterloo. Now Efferington. Efferington drifts towards the right, hands it off to Van Otterloo. Fought about taking a deep triple, but thought better of it. Now to McLaughlin. McLaughlin drifting into the near corner. McLaughlin passes away from the double team and finds Van Otterloo as the Bulldogs continue to churn time off the clock. Whoa. Van Otterloo goes skidding down the lane, and she drew a foul.
Yeah, I think got bailed out there because officials talking about it here. I don't know if they've got the same thing, but yeah, they're going to call before the shot. Yep. Because she may have traveled with the ball, but as it turned out, she got fouled before that.
I was thinking that initially as well, but they let it go, and because that's number 7 on the Cardinals, Van Otterloo will shoot 1-1 here. A little bit of surprise for Garner Hayfield Ventura to see her drive like that because she's been sitting outside and spotting up for those triples throughout the course of this game. But she can pick her spots. About 80% of her shot attempts are coming from 3, so it is not too often she's driving down the lane, but that was a good spot to do it as she misses the first of the 1-1. Cardinals have the basketball. They brought in a couple of subs. Krein has it. Working against Schmidt, back to the bucket. Coming around and taking the handoff is Hess. Slicing into the lane, fighting up the shot. It got tipped. It was knocked away from Perry. Out of bounds. The Bulldogs will keep it. Bulldogs will check Van Otterloo out of the game. Solwalk will come back in. And Bulldogs will have the basketball. Bulldogs, I will say, Greg, have done a better job this season when teams have thrown sort of a zone press like the Cardinals have done this afternoon against them. They look a lot more controlled and a lot more confident dealing with a full court type of defense.
Yeah, the purpose of press last time is just to get the other team to hurry up, get a little bit out of control, and Bulldogs have done a very good job of staying calm, staying under control.
46-21 Algona. We're under 2 minutes to go in this ball game. Don't forget the boys' game is coming up next. It's the doubleheader this Saturday afternoon as McLaughlin. They got Efferington had it knocked away, and here comes Frayne. And then it's stolen right back. Paige Schmidt got in there and took it away and stopped the fast break. Schmidt passing it left to Efferington. Eyes the bucket, but thought better of it. Bulldogs will continue to patiently work around the perimeter as McLaughlin comes out top to Solbach. Now to the right to Schmidt. Solbach drifting towards the right, looking for Schmidt. Into the far corner to McLaughlin. Comes back out top to Solbach. Eyes the bucket, passes right to Schmidt. Back and forth between her and Solbach. Solbach heading down the lane, fighting it up. Left it a little bit short. Fight for the rebound. It is peeled away by Valerie Welsh. And we have a jump ball called as she and Perry got tied up. Possession arrow towards the Cardinals with 1:13 left. And Bulldogs will start to check some starters out. Perry, McLaughlin, and Efferington all head to the bench. Algona's going to bring Caitlin Burns into the ball game. Lainey Van Tiger as well. Najee Price on the floor for the Bulldogs, as well as Slobach and Schmidt. 1:05 left. Solbach pestering Scheisel with the basketball, and then a throwaway. It rolls to Schmidt. Schmidt running, looking to pass it. Solbach comes open. She'll lay it up and lay it in.
Good vision by Schmidt that time. Make sure she had a teammate coming on the open side of the lane there.
Yes. That was a very hesitant fast break. You could kind of tell Schmidt was looking for that pass the whole time. She knew something would be open. She just didn't know who was going to arrive.
Right.
And it was Solbach arriving as she has 8 points. 37 seconds left. 3-point ball by Frayne, and she'll swish it. So that'll make it 48-24 as Algona doubling up Garner, Hayfield, Ventura. Cardinals scoring 9 points so far in the fourth quarter. But a great defensive effort this afternoon by Algona. 17 seconds left in the game as the Bulldogs will be content to play keep away for the final seconds in this one. Running out time on a very impressive road win as Solbach backs up towards half court. Bulldogs will pick up their 7th win of the season. They are going to move to 7-4, and they have their 2nd victory in a row on back-to-back nights. Algona 48, Garner, Hayfield, Ventura 24, and this one is in the books for the Algona girls. Nice momentum builder to head into next week as the Bulldogs will not play again until Friday against Clarion Goldfield Downs, but they took care of business on back-to-back nights, and Algona now 7-4 as Garner, Hayfield, Ventura drops to 4-6. We'll take a timeout. We'll look at the final numbers for this game and get you ready for for the boys matchup coming up next on Home Country Radio KLGZ.
More Sports Club members making these broadcasts possible on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Algona Livestock Sales. Sales every Monday.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce. 2 sauces for all seasons.
Farm and Home Services. View their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Holmes Animal Clinic. Animals large and small, they love them all.
Signworks for all your signage needs as well as printed shirts, caps, and jackets. Stop in or call 295-9544.
Style Salon. Your salon in Algona. Create yourself.
Dance Connection and Tumbling by Michelle. Passionate about teaching, creative about dance. Visit their studio or danceconnectionbymichelle.com.
TAFE Wellness Center in Algona and Armstrong. Keeping athletes in the game with chiropractic care. Take charge of your health.
All proud sponsors of this broadcast.
Looking for future leaders we can trust and believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Iowa. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It begins by making their grades and being on time for practice. It includes learning to listen, following directions, accepting responsibility, being a good role model. And it's about respect for officials, opponents, the rules, and each other. The result? It transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. High school sports. There's so much more than just a game. This message presented by the Iowa High School Athletic Association and the Iowa High School Athletic Directors Association.
When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at MoneyPass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
Game number 1 of our basketball doubleheader in the books here on Home Country Radio, as the Algona Bulldogs got just about everything they wanted out of this afternoon, defeating the Garner Hayfield Ventura Cardinals by a final score of 48-24. Bulldogs used a big 19-3 scoring run in the third quarter to blow it open. And Greg, a lot to like about this performance by Algona.
It really was. I thought it was a nice, solid game, really from the start. The Bulldogs did a nice job of moving the ball on offense, get some open looks in that first quarter, and making the Cardinals pay for that, as Casey Van Otterloo especially hot there in that first quarter where the Bulldogs hit 5 3-point shots, really stretches that defense out. And then really the third quarter, man, oh man, so efficient. I've got, as you mentioned, 19-3. The Bulldogs were 8 out of 12 from the field in that third quarter and scored 6 out of 7 times right underneath the basket. So obviously stretching the zone out a little bit. Coach McLaughlin saw where they get the ball down inside. They did repeatedly in that third quarter and really made them pay there, put the game away. Then the fourth quarter was really just kind of sitting on a lead, trying to run out the shot clock or use as much as possible. Bulldogs got a little bit careless there. Turned it over 7 times in the fourth quarter, only 11 for the game. So only four turnovers when they were really playing aggressive offense in the half court, and then 7 there in that last quarter. Got 17 turnovers out of the Cardinals tonight, which was certainly helpful. I talked about offensive rebounding. The Cardinals collected 6 offensive boards, according to my stats there in the second quarter. They end up with only 7 on the game. So Bulldogs did a nice job of cleaning that up in that second half as well. Take a look at the rest of the stats real quick here. Both teams shot just over half their shots from outside the arc, which isn't shocking with 2 zone defenses and 2 teams that are willing to shoot the 3, but it worked for Algona tonight. From the field, Algona 19 out of 39, 49%. So right at 50% shooting for the Bulldogs tonight from the field. That included 8 3-pointers out of 19 attempts, 42%. Normally, I think girls basketball, you shoot 42% as a team. from the field, that's good. The Bulldogs did that tonight from outside the arc. The one area probably a little bit disappointing, made just 2 out of 8 at the free throw line. So the Bulldogs are much better tonight when guarded and farther away from the basket than they were wide open 15 feet. But a nice, solid effort by the Bulldogs that way. For Garner, Hayfield, Ventura, they made 9 out of 40 from the field, 23%. The Bulldogs able to hold them to tonight. They made just 4 threes out of 21 attempts, 19%, and they were perfect on their 2 attempts at the line. That was 1 trip to the line in that first quarter. That's the only free throws that the Cardinals got. They did make both of them, but the keys are tonight just very, I don't know if methodical is really the right way to describe it, but certainly very solid effort by the Bulldogs on both sides, I thought, offensively and defensively. Moved the ball very well, got good looks, and just a nice, solid game all the way around.
Some impressive final numbers for the Algona Bulldogs as they defeat the Garner Hayfield Ventura Cardinals 48-24. That will wrap it up for the girls' game, but we have the boys' game coming up momentarily. We are going to roll right into the boys' pregame as we'll hear from Garner Hayfield Ventura head coach Jake Young and Algona head coach Jared Cecil as the boys' game is coming up next on Home Country KLGZ. And we get set for game number 2 of our basketball doubleheader, Algona against Garner Hayfield Ventura, as right now I'm talking of Cardinal head coach Jake Young. Coach, first of all, before we get into this afternoon's game, I do want to talk a little bit about just how winter break was for your team. Obviously, you get a little layoff there if your guys can maybe tune up a few things that you did in the first half of the season. So what did you guys work on over winter break, and how was that for your guys?
Yeah, it's always interesting. First half of the season versus second half. We always make some tweaks and changes, but for the most part, we're on the same script we were in the first half of the season. Just getting out, playing team basketball, offensively, defensively, just sticking to the fundamentals. And I think that break really we use that to get back to the fundamentals. We get so many games during the week, especially with all the weather we've had. It's just nice to be able to practice and not practice for a specific team and just get back to the basics and just tweak some little things here and there.
And, Coach, you guys won your first 7 games of the season, picked up a loss there against Lake Mills. Overall, how do you feel your guys have responded to that loss mentally?
So, yeah, that loss just came here on Monday. We played them right out of break here. So, yeah, they're a good team coming out of break. That's always a tough one on both sides. But really, they just executed a little bit better than we did. So we went through the film and really saw where we went wrong and how we need to fix it. So had a really good couple days of practice with the guys and very upbeat, very energetic, and ready to have a good weekend here with a couple games.
And, Coach, interesting non-conference matchup today against Algona, a member of the North Central Conference, obviously. You have seen them in the past, played them last year. So what are a couple of things that stick out to you about this Algona team?
Yeah, it really seems like we have great matchups every year. I think we're pretty split on the outcomes, but it just always seems to come down to execution in the fourth quarter. 2 very well-coached teams, a lot of respect for the program over with you guys, and really just looking forward to a great basketball game. I know it'll be high energy, even on a Saturday game. Sometimes those Saturday games you get some tired legs from the night before, but it always seems like the guys enjoy playing each other and looking forward to a good matchup.
And, Coach, you guys have been in a lot of games where you've been scoring in the mid-50s and playing great defense to win. And for Algona, it's kind of been one of those where they've had a lot of games this season where they've had games in the 70s and even 80s that have kind of gone back and forth in that way. With all that being said, I guess, what do you feel the optimal pacing of this game looks like, and how do you control the pacing of this one?
Yeah, I mean, historically we've been on the defensive end a little more, and the NCC seems to be a little more up-pace, upbeat, get shots off a little quicker, and just play that full-court style. So it'll be interesting to see how our styles mix, and really every time down the court we're just looking for a quality shot, whether that's 5 seconds into the shot clock or 25 seconds in. We just want to get a quality look, and then obviously just get back on defense. There's a lot of speed in the NCC, and they play at a quick pace, so we know we need to get back on defense and get set and really just make it tough on the opposing team. So, again, it should be a great matchup, whether it's in the 70s or the 50s. We're just going to try and execute in the fourth quarter and try and pull out a win.
And, Coach, obviously you have a lot of guys back from last year's team, which made a really nice run in the 2A playoffs and came one game away from state. As you go forward here, not just in this game, but for the rest of the regular season, what do you feel you need to see your guys doing and improving on to get to that level where you feel that they can break through and make it to state this year?
Right, we've got some key guys back, and they've been leading this group. I think, for us to have success at the end of the season, the younger guys that weren't as experienced and they're filling those gaps that left from last year, they just need to, play a full 4 quarters, stay focused for a full quarters, and really just get used to that physical aspect of varsity high-end basketball. So, again, our leaders are doing a great job, and our younger guys are really coming through, asking a lot of questions, and just really filling those roles that need to be filled to have a great team.
Well, Coach, best of luck in today's game, and thank you very much for the time.
Thank you.
That is Garner Hayfield Ventura head coach Jake Young, as we'll take another timeout. But tip-off of the boys' game is coming up on Home Country Radio, KLGZ.
For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa bone, joint, and sports surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
Breakfast with the Coaches continues here on Hometown Radio KLGA from the Algona Hy-Vee Market Grill. Right now I'm joined by Bulldog head coach Jared Cecil. Coach, first of all, thank you for joining today. How's it going this morning?
It's going great, and thanks for having us.
Absolutely. We'll talk a little bit about last night's game here in just a second, as you guys were able to beat St. Edmund. But before we get to that, first game coming out of winter break, obviously you guys went into the break coming off a loss to Clear Lake, had a couple things to work on with the team. So what did you focus on over that time period, and how was that winter break period overall?
Winter break for us was great. It was a little longer than normal. We had a few extra snow days in there, but the time was good. We had a number of good practices. We talked about that even again last night before the game, that preseason, I felt the kids were coming together. We talked chemistry would be a big thing this year, and they were starting to flow together and really play well together and practice in games. And then, hit kind of a stretch there, and we got a little off kilter for a little bit. And it's tough to put your finger on it sometimes when they're not jiving together. But we had some time over break. Kids came back ready to go. Worked on a lot of details. A lot of minor details probably in their world, pretty major in my world. But just getting some better shot selection. But again, a lot of it just learning to play together, and I'd shared that a couple days ago with some others of practices at a whole different level probably over break. We got a good scrimmage in there. And then just day in and day out, they keep bringing it and growing together. So we knew we were in a better spot coming out of break than certainly going into break. So feeling good about how they're playing together, feeling good about the chemistry that's being built right now.
And, Coach, you only played 6 games heading into winter break with a record of 3-3, but it felt like you had a lot more than 6 games worth of action packed into those 6 games. You saw a little bit of everything going into that break. When you look at that first part of the season and kind of had a little chance there to step back and evaluate, how do you kind of overall look at that first 6 games?
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. It was a small number of games. We have 6 before and 16 regular season afterwards, so that's not necessarily your normal split, but a lot of action in there, and you're right, saw a lot of things. Seen a lot of things out of our team to learn a lot more about what this team can do and needs to work on to get better. So tons of reflection on those games. We talk even the other day in practice. Again, sometimes what you see is good, but it's the stuff that nobody else is looking at that are those details that matter against the right team. So we've been able to pick a lot of those apart in practice over break as well, and the kids are really responding to that.
And, Coach, sometimes coming out of the break, the concern can be maybe being a little bit rusty to start off, but that obviously was not the case last night as you guys beat St. Edmund by a final score of 90-47. Obviously, a lot of things must have gone right offensively in that game. Just overall, how do you evaluate that performance?
Absolutely. St. Ed's has the ability to slow the ball down, play some good defense, and take the air out of it a little bit. And so we talked that with the rest of the coaches this morning. You really didn't want to grind out a 7-point win last night, and then put all that into the end of the game probably. So we knew the kids were hungry. We like to run the floor. We like to get up and down. Shot clock I think is still up there, but we haven't heard it in a while, which is really fun and really good basketball. But I would say the kids were ready to go. They knew what they needed to do, and they were ready to get out and play last night, and that's what we showed.
And Coach Ben Helmers led your team scoring-wise. He had 32 points in last night's game. This year, he's really had a breakout season for the team. He's been leading them in scoring multiple times this season. How have you seen him really develop and kind of grow into the role he currently has?
Absolutely. Ben certainly made a lot of shots last night and is a really good player. It's stuff that we see every day in practice. We saw last year as we put him in that role to get him prepped for this year as part of that. So teammates also are a big factor in that. The team trusts Ben a lot, and they like to see Ben get the ball and go. But like anything else, it takes a lot of other guys to get him that ball and to find him and to set that screen and make that. So good play out of him last night. Certainly we'll see more of that this year, but with the help of the rest of the guys getting him there.
And, Coach, you really hit the ground running here after break. Back-to-back games coming up as you have Garner, Hayfield, Ventura this afternoon. They're off to a 7-2 start to the season. Scouting them, what kind of stands out about the Cardinals?
Kind of a typical trend as coaches and teams do, but they're physical. They're well coached. They'll want to pressure, and they'll get out and go as well. Looking forward to a good challenge with them today and give them what we got.
Absolutely. And, Coach, when you look at their roster, one of the players who definitely really jumps off the screen is Drew Britson. He's a guy that you've seen a lot in the past few years as well. What kind of challenges does he present, and how do you defend him?
Well, he presents a lot of challenges, but like anybody else, that's part of the game. You got to go make them go to their second, third, fourth, fifth options. So we'll work hard today to take away what they're used to, what he's used to, kind of neutralize him would be a game plan for us, and then again make somebody else step up. And we often talk, if the fourth or fifth guy or their sixth option steps up and beats you, well then they're a good team. But we know the stuff that already works for them. We want to see what else they have to go. So that's kind of the game plan. Neutralize him and play pretty straight up on everybody else.
Well, Coach, along those same lines as we wrap up here, what's the biggest thing you need to see from your guys this afternoon to pick up a win?
Consistency is one of the items we've talked about. Last night we talked consistency throughout the game, and we had it all last night. Sometimes we've been in that early lead and then just kind of coast, and then the guys aren't satisfied with that. They know we're not satisfied with that. So consistency for 32 minutes is what we're really looking for today.
Well, Coach, we'll see you this afternoon, and thank you very much for joining today.
Thanks a lot.
At Security State Bank, we realize each customer has a unique set of needs and goals. That's why we place a greater value on providing outstanding customer service. All products and services are designed for customers within our local community. We value each customer that walks through our door and wants to give them the personalized attention they deserve. Find out why Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne is your partner in community banking. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
We are getting set for game number 2 of our basketball doubleheader, Algona against Garner, Hayfield, Ventura. You heard from both coaches prior to this afternoon's game and got their thoughts on it, and now it is just about time for basketball action. Cardinals come in at 7-2. They were 7-0 before winter break, feeling great about themselves, but then it was a Monday loss against Lake Mills, and they lost last night in overtime against North Union. Meanwhile, Algona is 4-3 on the season. They rolled past St. Edmund last night, 90-47, and they will try to continue the momentum this afternoon against the Cardinals. I'm Tyler Lance, my partner's Greg Stewart. If you're just tuning in, the girls' game went in Algona's favor, 48-24, so Bulldogs will try for a sweep of the doubleheader this afternoon. Greg, what does Algona need to do to pick up a win today?
Well, I think like Coach is talking about there, you've got to play consistently for 32 minutes. Most teams, including this one tonight, Garner, Hayfield, Ventura, are good enough that they're going to keep pressure on you, and so you've got to play a complete game, and I think that's one thing the Bulldogs feel they've been getting better and better at, is producing a consistent effort. I think Coach Cecil felt they got that last night against St. Ed's, but so number one, consistent effort, both ends of the court, get good shot selection and good defense consistently through the game. Go a long ways to determining the outcome. This will be a good battle against another very athletic team.
Garner, Hayfield, Ventura, and Algona coming up. The Cardinals bring out the starting lineup of the senior Braden Banky, junior Mason Graham, junior Aiden Haw, senior Drew Britson, and sophomore Lane Gakin. Algona is going to have their normal starting lineup, the sophomore Ben Helmers, senior Simon Fike, sophomore Alex Mansky, senior Caden Weber, and junior Landon Welp. Bulldogs are in their road grays, Cardinals in the home whites. They have the red lettering on the front and back of their uniforms. At midcourt, it's the 6'4" Ben Helmers. He will go up against the 6'2" Drew Britson. Ball's in the air. Britson wins the tap. Graham tracks it down, and the Cardinals have the basketball to start game number 2 of our doubleheader. They'll head from right to left on the radio dial. Graham crossing the foul line, shovels to Gakin. Gakin into the lane, dumping it down to the baseline. Now in the corner, Banky misses short on the three-pointer as Fike rebounds. Bulldogs get it up the court to Welp, lobbing it near side to Helmers, who had 32 points last night against St. Edmund, and he'll shovel around the perimeter to Mansky. Over to the right, Helmers. He catches, lets it rip, but left the three-pointer short, and it trickles out of bounds back to the Cardinals.
Well, Cardinals start out in our 2-3 zone. Bulldogs go man-to-man here opening up.
Well, the Cardinals and Bulldogs have some different scoring numbers this season. Bulldogs, they've been scoring at a prolific rate. So far, 72.7 points per game, but they are giving up 63. Cardinals have the ball now. Pass into the lane is batted away. Fike got a hand on it, and here comes Helmers. Cardinals have played in some lower scoring games this season as Welp is in the far corner. Cardinals scoring 60 points a game. They're letting up 49. Now Fike has it back out top, directing traffic for the Bulldog offense, and he will hand it off to Welp. Welp drifting towards the right as he dribbles with the right hand. Weber throws, but it's intercepted. Could not find Mansky down low as Britson took it away. And then Britson threw it away off the hands of Graham in transition.
Well, 3 possessions, 3 turnovers right now.
6:49 on the clock, still looking for our first bucket of this afternoon. No score, Algona and Garner, Hayfield, Ventura. Weber turns around for a jumper, misses it off the back of the cup. Mansky had the rebound pulled out of his hands by Britson. A good physical board from the Cardinal senior. Into the lane, it's off the hands of Haw, out of bounds, and last touched by Welp, who reached in there late and got a finger on the ball. So Cardinals will keep it. From the far side of the court, it'll be Banky, wearing that white arm sleeve on the right arm to inbound. Banky, the 6'2" senior, looking, bouncing it in. Wide open man, and Haw has the lay-in. Well, great design on that inbounds play, and the Cardinals grab a 2-0 lead. Helmers leans in for a jumper from the lane, and boy, he loves that shot. That'll tie it up at 2.
Very few players can shoot off-balance shots like that when they have to adjust in the air like Ben Helmers.
Ben Helmers has made such an improvement from last season, and obviously was a valuable member off the bench last year. As now there's a floater from the lane by Graham missing, but he can take over the scoring on any given night. Now Mansky's attacking inside like a bull in a china shop as he goes to the bucket and scores it.
Now it takes a little courage to step in front of that as a defender as well.
And now it'll be a 30-second timeout called by Coach Young. The Bulldogs had Britson trapped along the sideline on the far side of the court, and they did not want to have an early turnover, so timeout called by the Cardinals. Right now it is Algona 4, Garner, Hayfield, Ventura 2. And Greg, a little bit of a fielding out process for the first couple of minutes, but I do feel we're going to see things pick up here pretty quickly.
Well, Algona with the pressure there, obviously trying to get the pace picked up a little bit. Algona likes to run, they like to pressure, and they want to get this Garner-Hayfield team going a little faster.
And it'll be interesting to see how the pace of the game plays out. Last year when these two teams matched up, it was a Garner-Hayfield Ventura win over Algona, 53-44. And one of my big takeaways coming out of that game was the Cardinals really slowed down the pace. They took Algona out of their game, and the Cardinals really out-physicaled the Bulldogs in that game. And one of the key stats last year, Cardinals attempted 23 throws. Algona only attempted 5. So we'll see how the pacing and the physicality battle plays out today. Britson will be running the point for the Cardinals as he passes to the left wing to Graham. Welp defends him in the man-to-man defense. Far side of the court, Britson looking for the baseline. Helmers helps out Weber. Outside, open 3, Banky lets it fly, and he cans it. 5-4, Cardinals back in the lead. Couple early lead changes here as the pass is knocked out of bounds by Gakin.
Welp just lost control of that ball as it was coming up off the dribble and kind of double clutched on the pass. Fortunate not to have the turnover.
The 6'3" junior Cale Johnson is coming off the bench to replace Haw for Garner, Hayfield, Ventura, adding a few more inches of height. Johnson averaging 5 points off the bench this season for the Cardinals as Fike gets it inside Mansky, takes one power dribble, now back outside to Fike with 5:19 on the clock. Welp has top of the key, flips it away from the two players. Now to Weber in the lane. It rolls away from him, and there's a turnover by Algona. Banky outlets it up the court, but that pass is intercepted by Welp. It's volleyballed into the lane to Fike, and he got wrapped up around the wrist. A foul by the Cardinals there first. That foul will go against Gakin with 5:07 on the clock, as it'll be Mason Graham heading to the bench, and Aiden Scheisel coming into the game. The Bulldogs have Tristan Larson coming onto the floor. So right now, Fike, Welp, Larson, Helmers, and Mansky for Algona, as Larson has it to the right of center. 2-3 zone defense shifting for the Cardinals. Helmers at the foul line, turns around for a jumper. Nothing but air, but Mansky got the rebound. Mansky powers it up, leans back, and scores it.
He was low underneath the basket there. Nice job.
Yeah, he found a way to create room for himself, and Algona up 6-5. Britson spins into traffic. Shot got blocked out of bounds. The Cardinals will keep it. They had two players glued on him. He spun away from one, but he was right into the arms of another one, as the Cardinals inbound from the near side of the baseline. Banky bounces it to the cutting Gakin. High off the window, and he drops it in. 7-6 Cardinals. Far side of the court, Mansky into the lane, Helmers. Helmers takes one dribble, rises and floats it in. 8-7 Algona. Helmers made the best read he could there and somehow found another. A little bit of an off-balance shot as he has 4 points.
Now, it's a left-hander. That fools a lot of defenders as well. They're used to playing against right-handed players, and Ben uses that very well.
Helmers had 26 points against Clear Lake, 32 against St. Edmund. As now here's an intercepted pass by Algona. Larson shovels it to Mansky. Yep. Mansky wanted to drive, but he got started early and he traveled.
Yeah, trying to get a little fake there.
So 8-7 is the Garner Hayfield Ventura. Make that the Algona lead right now over Garner Hayfield Ventura. Already have seen 3 or 4 lead changes early in this game. As with the basketball right now, it's Scheisel, guarded on the perimeter by Larson. Comes to the top of the key to Johnson. To the right to Britson. Britson was the leading scorer last season when these two teams matched up. A bounce pass into the lane, and it's off the hands of Johnson. And here come the Bulldogs. Helmers runs the floor. He hangs and he got fouled.
Now, turnovers have really been a big story here. First half of the first quarter. That's unofficially 5 times the Cardinals have turned it over already.
Yeah, and those turnovers are going to play right into Algona's hands because they will try to run after just about every turnover. As we've seen a lot of times this season, the Bulldogs, they want to turn up the dial on the pace as Helmers splashes on the first foul shot. Ben Helmers shooting about 58% from the line this season. Right now, number 4 in the North Central Conference in scoring, just under 18 points a game for Algona, and a lot of that coming recently as he drains the second foul shot as well.
Yeah, he's had a couple of big games here.
10-9, make it 10-7 actually, the Algona lead right now over the Cardinals. Bulldogs are going to bring Devin Larson into the game as well. So you've got the 2 Larsons, Fike, as well as Helmers and Mansky for Algona. It'll be Britson handling the basketball, wearing jersey number 23 for the Cardinals as he crosses over half court. And he throws a pass that's intercepted by Devin Larson. Larson stumbles and it rolls out of bounds.
Ooh, and he might have rolled an ankle there.
Yeah, he's gimping around, hanging down for that right ankle. And they're going to have to check him out of the game. Landon Welp runs in off the bench. And hopefully Larson is able to get a little ice on that because, yeah, like you said, Greg, rolled that ankle. You saw him have that initial stumble and then the second one as well on the far side of the court.
Yeah, get a little ice on that perhaps, and taking him into the locker room right now.
Britson has the basketball for the Cardinals. 3:19 on the clock. Algona leading by 3 right now. Britson finds the elbow, rises for a jumper, but misses off the back of the cup. Tracks down his own miss, deals inside. It's knocked away. It's off the hands of Cale Johnson and back to Algona. It was a good pass, but I don't think Johnson was quite ready for that one. It surprised him a little bit, and the Cardinals pick up another turnover.
Yeah, that's 7, and I think you're exactly right. He wasn't ready for it. Popped off the end of his fingertips.
Ticking down towards 3 minutes to go in quarter number 1. Tristan Larson bouncing it up top to Welp. Around the perimeter to Fike. Fike's been averaging 9 3-point attempts per game. We'll see when he gets his first one this afternoon. This time it'll be Larson. He'll rise and he'll splash a 3-pointer right through. 13-7 Algona. First bucket for Tristan Larson. And now a steal, and it's going to be a jump ball. They called the jump ball before us. It was stolen away as Helmers was just ripping it out of the hands of Britson.
Nice follow on defense there as soon as he pulled the ball up. Helmer's right there to tie him up, and then, as you mentioned, ripped it away.
Fike catches. He'll fire his first three of the day, but it rattles out of the cup. Offensive board, Helmers, and he follows it up and in. 15-7 Algona. Bulldogs are on an 8-0 run, and a foul's picked up. Foul against Algona here. That'll be their first of the afternoon. Larson, the offending party, as the Bulldogs are trying to put a little full court pressure on the Cardinals. Fike will guard the inbounds pass of Banky. Banky bouncing it into Britson. Britson lobbing it up the court to Scheisel. He catches, and he got stripped. Larson had a great defensive play as he's contending he hit it off of Scheisel, but it'll stay with the Cardinals here.
Might have been close. The official did not have a good angle at that one. He was trailing the play, of course, and couldn't really see that.
In either case, though, good defensive play. You prevent the layup in transition after they get past your press and force an inbounds play from the baseline. Banky looking. Banky has his pass knocked away. Bulldogs showing some active hands early in this game as Helmer swats it out of bounds.
I was going to say twice the Cardinals have gotten wide open looks on out-of-bounds plays for lay-ins.
That was the first bucket of the game they got. It was a wide open lay-in. As right now it's Mason Graham handling the basketball. Graham wants to attack, deals into the far corner. Gakin sidesteps, shoots the three-pointer, and he airballs it. Here's Alex Mansky. Mansky on the pace. Mansky, pass gets to Larson. Fakes, finds Helmers in the corner. He rises, misses the triple. Offensive board, Mansky takes one dribble, goes back up a bit, missed it, got his own miss again, and it is wrapped up in the lane. And a jump ball going to be called here.
It's going to go back the other way now.
So Cardinals will get it back with 2:05 on the clock. Algona 15, Garner, Hayfield, Ventura 7. Quarter number one action. Cardinals 6-0 at home so far this season. They've played the vast majority of their games at home, 6 of 9 inside of this gymnasium, where they have not lost this season. Banky back to the bucket, backing in against Mansky, and Mansky hand-checked him and picked up the foul. That'll be number 2 against Algona. Both teams with 2 fouls in quarter number 1. First on Mansky. 1:55 on the clock. Algona up 15-7 as Banky bounces it into Graham. Welp picks him up all the way near half court. Graham tries to spin away, dishes into the near corner. Gakin three-point try off the back of the cup, no. And Mansky skies for another rebound. Mansky piling up a ton of rebounds early in this game as Fike misses a left angle triple. Graham comes out for the board for the Cardinals. Graham pushing it the other way, drifts towards the left. Mansky defends near the top of the key. Graham left of the lane, bouncing at baseline to Britson. Turns for a jumper, missed it long, and Fike taps the rebound to himself. Now Welp outlets it up to Larson. Larson looking for space. They'll try to trap him. He'll pass it away to Mansky. In the lane, Fike. Fike banging inside, puts it off the window, missed it, tips the rebound, and it goes into the hands of Gakin. And now the Cardinals want to run. Gakin falling down, got it to Britson, nearly avoided the turnover that time. Britson passing away from the double team, and this time a foul. Larson and Helmers were guarding Britson, and Larson went sailing in there. I believe they'll get that on Larson.
Yes, that was going to be the call. Bulldogs had a nice opportunity the last time down the court, and just some good interior passing, just couldn't get a shot to fall.
And check that, that'll be on Helmers. Caden Weber returns to the game for Algona with 1:04 on the clock. Right now, Helmers leading the way with 8 points for the Bulldogs in this 15-7 lead. Britson has the ball at the edge of the Cardinal logo at half court as Weber defends him all the way out there. The motor is always running for Weber on defense. Britson gets it back, drifts left. Britson driving inside, banging his way in, and he drew the blocking foul as he missed, but he'll shoot 2. And this time it is going to be Tristan Larson picking up his second foul, 4th against Algona.
Good aggressive move by Britson.
Britson, the number 3 scorer in the top of Iowa West, 16.9 points per game. He's shooting 62.5% on free throws. Spins the first shot up, but it misses off the back of the cup, no good. Cardinals are a really good free throw shooting team. They, as a team, are averaging about 70% from the charity stripe. Trailing Algona right now 15-7 as Britson drains the foul shot, and that will break up an 8-0 Algona scoring run. Now 47 seconds to go in the quarter. Larson in the near corner just to the right of us, rolls it back out to Welp. Welp will bring the ball into the center, flipping it to the left wing to Weber. In the lane, Helmers pump fakes, rises for the jumper, misses off the back of the cup. Helmers got his own miss. Helmers kicks it out. Weber thought about the free, but he'll drive instead. Deals to Mansky, but sailed it out of bounds over his head. Cale Johnson checks back in for the Cardinals with 27 seconds to go on the game clock. Shot clock is off here at the end of the first quarter. Banky looking, bouncing it in. Graham in the backcourt. Bulldogs will back off a little bit here as Graham will jog it into the front court with 20 seconds to go in quarter number one. 15-8 Algona. Graham bouncing it left, almost root behind Banky, but he picks it up. Banky handing it off to Britson. Britson flipping it back to the left to Banky at the top of the key as well, picks him up. Down to 9 seconds to go in the quarter. Weber poking at Britson, trying to steal the ball away. 5 seconds to go. Britson slicing in, and a foul happens against Algona with 3.2 on the clock. That foul's picked up by Caden Weber.
See that coming. Britson aggressive offensively and being played tight by Weber, took him to the left side.
Britson fires the pass into the lane, knocked out of bounds with 1 second on the clock. Mansky denying the ball from Johnson, and the Cardinals will run another inbounds here with very little time left. It'll be Graham to trigger. You've got to make sure no one comes open for an easy bucket if you're Algona. Graham looking, and the pass is intercepted by Mansky, and that is the end of the first quarter. Solid defensive effort by Algona so far. They lead Garner, Hayfield, Ventura 15-8 as we head to quarter number 2 on Home Country Radio, KLGZ.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio. Brought to you by these sports club members.
Farmer State Bank is proud to be a part of our community for over 125 years with offices in Algona, Whittemore, and West Bend.
Jensen Chiropractic. Care for the whole family.
Stroman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Phil's Auto and Truck Repair. Service is the difference.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
Oak Crest Funeral Services. Celebrating a life lived.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
Algona Frame and Auto Body. Collision Specialist. A total commitment to excellence.
Water Connection, from softeners to bottled water and service. Call 295-SOFT.
Algona Pizza Ranch. There's so much to love.
All bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
It is Algona 15, Garner, Hayfield, Ventura 8 as we begin the second quarter. Greg, I'll tell you what, I'm interested to see how the Cardinals respond emotionally right now. They lost an emotional overtime game last night to North Union. They come out here and the Bulldogs are frustrating them defensively. Not a whole lot of offensive production for the Cardinals, so the next few minutes here could be a very big early moment in this game.
Yeah, it really could.
Bounce pass is intercepted. Cardinals force the early turnover. Banky into the front court. Banky crossing the foul line, dishes down low to Haw. Haw's shot is bothered on the way up by Mansky. It rolls off the rim, but the Cardinals track down the loose ball. They'll have another chance here. Banky whipping the pass left to Nicholas Zaroslik, who just checked in. Zaroslik into the lane, misses the shot off to the right. 2 chances there for the Cardinals, but they come up empty as now Helmers for Algona, slicing into the lane, rising and missing it right. Ball gets tapped away, it rolls out of bounds, and this is going to be Cardinal basketball.
Well, the other thing I was going to say, that first quarter, 15 turnovers between the two teams unofficially. That's a bucket load, but pretty strong defense being played both ways.
Yeah, definitely more than a healthy amount, you'd say, as in the far side of the court, it's Haw. Cardinals have the basketball now with Graham backing up. This time, Weber's defending Graham. He heads to the right. It's passed now to the left. Zaroslik almost threw it over the head of Haw, but now look at it back out top to Graham. 13 on the shot clock. Graham crossing over, heading down the lane, dishes into the corner. They'll wave it off, though. There's a foul inside, and it's an offensive foul drawn by Tristan Larson.
Good defense inside again, and it would have been interesting to see what the official was going to call on that shot, because the three-point shot was launched almost simultaneously there. Did not go in, but...
Graham the guilty party, but he went crashing into Larson as he dealt that pass into the corner. 1 minute into quarter number 2, Algona 15, Garner, Hayfield, Ventura 8. In this Saturday basketball action, and now we have a 3-second violation called against the Bulldogs.
I'm not sure if that was Mansky, who was out of the lane at the time, or maybe Ben Helmers at the top of the key. Had his left foot just in the corner of the lane, perhaps. Again, a call you don't see very often.
It's a call you don't see very often, and 3 seconds is also not a call you see a whole lot against the Algona boys. Especially
Right.
you don't have that traditional center posting up inside and just hanging out in the lane the whole game. And the Bulldog offense has a lot of movement without the basketball, so that is, like you said, not a common call to go against the Algona boys team. Far side of the court. Zarost look of the basketball. Comes to the left wing to Britson. Britson so far held to 1 point, but he'll take a lot of shots throughout the course of this afternoon. He's taking 17 shots per game, most field goal attempts in the top of Iowa West. This time he deals into the lane. He finds Gakin, and Gakin hooks it in for 2.
All right, that's a terrific job by Britson, who was trapped along the baseline, finding a teammate right underneath the basket.
Britson's also averaging 4 assists per game, showing some good passing skills there. Algona up 15-10. Larson far side of the court, bouncing it to Helmers at the edge of the paint. Comes across to Welp, now to Mansky on the baseline. Mansky charging inside and scoring. Mansky almost blew a tire there, but he kept his feet. He almost balanced himself on the defensive player and was able to power it home for 2.
I tell you what, you better be ready to stand your ground, because if Mansky gets it down low, chances are good he's going up with the ball.
I would not want to be the last man in between Alex Mansky and the basket.
No.
That cannot be a fun job as Britson turns for a three-pointer, missed it left. Mansky tracking down the rebound and keeping his feet in bounds. Larson comes up to the near side of the court for Algona. Mansky over to Welp. 5:23 on the clock. Algona holding a 7-point lead over Garner, Hayfield, Ventura. Now Weber has it on the right wing. All the way across to Welp. Pump fakes towards the baseline. Finds Helmers. Rises. Bangs it off the glass. No. Offensive board Mansky. He follows. And it bounces off to the right. No good. But Mansky was fouled on the play, and he'll shoot 2.
Well, big part of Algona's game is really Alex Mansky underneath the basket. Such an aggressive rebounder. And he's so strong with the ball that once he gets it, you know, either he's going to have a put-in or a collective foul.
Mansky is the number 3 rebounder in the North Central Conference at over 8 per game. And 3.5 of those per game are offensive rebounds as he buries the first foul shot. So, you know, those 3.5 extra possessions per game that Mansky's generating, always important, especially with a team that can shoot the ball as well as Algona. 18-10 Bulldogs. Devin Larson comes back into the game, which is good. Rolled his ankle during the first quarter, but he's gotten the rest he needed, and he's back in as Mansky misses the second foul shot. Britson jogs up the far side of the court for the Cardinals. Down to 5 minutes to go in half number 1. Banky on the right wing. The senior averaging about 10 points per game. Gets the ball back. Surveys the defense and passes to the right to Johnson. Left open for a three-point try, but it's a little bit long. Offensive rebound in the lane. It's taken by the Cardinals. Ha. Knocked away, out to Scheisel, now to the left, Britson. Britson opens up for a 3, but he missed it long. Offensive rebound again, though, for Ha. And he comes back outside beyond the 3-point line. Cardinals on their third chance. Britson, a behind-the-back dribble as Fike tries to stay in front. Fike claps his hands and challenges Britson as Britson passes it away. Gets it back, works the baseline, comes all the way across the court. Johnson catching fire, 3 in the air, ball it.
Wow.
So a lot of opportunities at possession for the Cardinals, but they come up dry, and the Bulldogs continue to lead by 8. Into the far corner, Helmers. He'll try his luck on a 3, and he'll splash it in. Ben Helmers now double digits. He has 11 points, and Algona has a 21-10 lead. Britson up top, passing it over to the left to Scheisel. Down low, a nice find, and Haw lays it in. Scheisel for the assist, Haw off the finish, and that'll make it 21-12. Larson into the corner to Helmers. Faked on the three-pointer, but it'll come out to Welp with 3:41 on the clock. To the near side to Devin Larson, bouncing it to Helmers. He'll rise for the jumper, and he'll knock it through.
Doesn't seem to make any difference which side he's on. Nice job there from the right side.
13 points. I'll tell you what, the mid-range shot like that is not used nearly as much in today's game, but Helmers is very adept at it as now Britson takes a wide angle and kisses it in off the glass.
Double team, spun out of that, and flipped it up off the glass, and a travel on Fike.
Yeah, Fike caught the pass, wanted to drive, and he got called for the travel, so Cardinals grabbing a splash of momentum back here. 23-14 Algona. Fike will head to the bench. Tristan Larson will come in. Relatively smaller and quick lineup right now for Algona. Obviously, you've got Mansky in the middle, but you've got a couple Larsons on the floor as well as Helmers and Welp. 3:09 on the clock. Here comes Britson into the front court. Bulldogs have held Britson to 3 points in half number one. He drifts towards the right, deals it into the corner to Banky, rises for a three-pointer, shot it a little bit long. Offensive rebound, Mason Graham. And it's out of his hands. It's shoveled back into play by Welp. Bulldogs will turn it over themselves. Helmer's tried to throw a behind-the-back pass as he was losing control of the ball. Now the Cardinals run the other way. Outside Banky tries again, and his three ball's long again. It's batted into the lane, and here's Helmer's with the ball. Now it's the pace. Larson up the court, sidestepping, rising, missing off the cup. Ball is tipped in the lane. Mansky has it. Mansky got fouled. He put it up. He put it down, and Alex Mansky will try to finish a three-point play.
Well, as we said earlier, Alex Mansky is huge because it seems like neither team has really been able to get into a smooth offensive flow, and Ben Helmer's having a fair amount of success, but also giving him some tough shots inside, and Mansky seems like he's always there to help clean up.
I don't know the exact number of rebounds Mansky has as he drains the foul shot, but I would venture a guess that he is already in double digits, or if he's not, he's at 9, as Mansky now has 10 points, and he is making a huge impact on the glass to start off this game. Cardinal basketball, 2:25 on the clock. Britson holds it over his head as Larson jumps in his face. Into the corner to Graham. His three-point ball is short. Boy, the Cardinals just cannot buy a three-pointer in this first half. Helmer sidestepping into the lane on the other end. Rolls it off the fingers and rolls it in.
Yep.
And a timeout is called by Garner, Hayfield, Ventura. Bulldogs up 28-14 as Helmers now has 15 points. We have 2:11 to go until halftime. The Bulldogs have grabbed the momentum in this one. We'll take a quick timeout, come back in 60 seconds on Home Country Radio and the Algona Radio YouTube live stream.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio. Brought to you by these sports club members.
Farmers State Bank is proud to be a part of our community for over 125 years with offices in Algona, Whittemore, and West Bend.
Jensen Chiropractic. Care for the whole family.
Stroman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Phil's Auto and Truck Repair. Service is the difference.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
Oak Crest Funeral Services. Celebrating a life lived.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
Algona Frame and Auto Body. Collision Specialist. A total commitment to excellence.
Water Connection, from softeners to bottled water and service. Call 295-SOFT.
Algona Pizza Ranch. There's so much to love.
All bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Algona going on a scoring run right now as the Bulldogs are doubling up the Garner, Hayfield, Ventura Cardinals, 28-14. Greg, the Bulldogs are finding a little flow as the ball is thrown all the way up the court. Cardinals will draw a foul. Boy, Scheisel snuck behind the Bulldog defense coming out of the timeout and caught them napping.
Yeah, Scheisel has good quickness. Took a little jab step toward the ball and then broke, and that was a set play. They were looking for that. Threw the football pass 3/4 length of the floor, and he draws it in, gets the foul. Nice recovery, really, by Larson.
Scheisel drains the first foul shot. That'll make it 28-15. Well, in spite of that play, Algona playing very well in the second quarter, and really how you close a quarter really says a lot about a team and really builds a lot of momentum. So the final 2 minutes here will say a lot, but the Bulldogs will try to keep the foot on the gas pedal on a good run right now. Second foul shot is missed. Into the corner, Larson rises for a three, but it rattles out of the cup. It took a peek inside, but the Cardinals will grab the rebound. Britson into the front court, avoids traffic. Down to the baseline, Graham threads the needle, finds his man inside, and Ha lays it in for two.
Yep, good hesitation there. Let the defenders go up and come down.
Well, good last timeout by Coach Jake Young for the Cardinals. They have gotten exactly what they wanted on the first couple possessions following that timeout. And Algona's lead back down to 11 points. To the baseline, Mansky outside Larson. Tries the three-pointer again. Missed it a little bit to the right. And the Cardinals grab another rebound. And now they can take some serious momentum if they score here. Graham almost lost the ball. Gave it to the cutting Banky. It's knocked away by Larson. Larson peels it off the floor and he finds Mansky. Cardinals screaming for a travel, but they won't get it. Helmer's got to the bucket, but it got poked away. Oh, Graham somehow reached behind him and batted it away from Helmer's. And there's a turnover.
Turnovers, we've had a number of possessions that way. Turnover one end before the other team gets shot off. They give it back.
Ticking down towards 1 minute to go in the first half. Bulldogs don't want Britson to get the basketball, but it's going to be a foul. Helmer's guarding Haas. He'll pick up his second with 1:01 on the clock. That is going to be foul number 6 against Algona. So, oh no, check that. That is number 7. They were a little tardy getting that up on the scoreboard, so this will be 1-1 coming for the Cardinals.
Just 5 fouls on the Cardinals, so they've got another one to give if they want to. The last minute.
Hahn misses on the first of the 1-1. So Bulldogs will dodge that one. Helmers grabs the rebound. Hahn, not someone who misses a lot of free throws, shooting about 71% there. Top of the key, Welp. Welp lines up the three-pointer, missed it long, and sailing in for the rebound is Britson.
Bulldogs kind of gone cold here late.
Crashing inside, missing his Hahn. Rebound is taken by Welp on the near side of the court with 38 seconds left to go. About a 4-second difference between game and shot clock for Algona. Welp at the top of the key, flips it right to Larson. Now back to the left to Welp. Bulldogs can work it for a good shot. Now Devin Larson with the basketball, bouncing it back to the right to Welp. Down to 22 seconds to go in the quarter, 15 on the shot clock. To the right to Tristan Larson. Takes one dribble towards the right, then flips it back to the left. 9 on the shot clock. Helmers inside the foul line, outside Devin Larson. Navigating the baseline, and a foul against the Cardinals.
No harm with that foul. That was the 6th team, so just out of bounds now underneath the basket.
So the shot clock is now off following the foul. The Bulldogs will inbound it from the baseline of 10.3 seconds left to go in the first half and a 28-17 lead. Larson lobbing it in, looking for Mansky, threw it a little behind him. Ball got batted away, it's rolling loose on the floor. Britson peels it up, and he flips it up the court to Scheisel. Inside, laying it up as Hahn, he missed it. 1 second to go, 3/4 court heave by Mansky comes up short, and the Bulldogs dodge a bullet right before the end of the half. Well, Garner, Hayfield, Ventura gets it a little bit closer, but the Bulldogs have the advantage. Algona 28, Garner, Hayfield, Ventura 17 as we head to halftime. We'll take a timeout and look at the first half numbers coming up next on Home Country Radio and the Algona Radio YouTube live stream.
When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at MoneyPass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
With over a decade of experience, Jake Ingalls Electric is here to handle any electrical job you could possibly have. From anything agricultural related to complex commercial wiring to something simple like installing a new outlet in your home, Jake Ingalls Electric does it all. Have your wiring done right and call Jake at 515-320-4286. Jake Ingalls Electric, shockingly good service.
More Sports Club members making these broadcasts possible on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Algona Livestock Sales. Sales every Monday.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce. 2 sauces for all seasons.
Farm and Home Services. View their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Holmes Animal Clinic. Animals large and small, they love them all.
Signworks for all your signage needs as well as printed shirts, caps, and jackets. Stop in or call 295-9544.
Style Salon. Your salon in Algona. Create yourself.
Dance Connection and Tumbling by Michelle. Passionate about teaching, creative about dance. Visit their studio or danceconnectionbymichelle.com.
TAFE Wellness Center in Algona and Armstrong. Keeping athletes in the game with chiropractic care. Take charge of your health.
All proud sponsors of this broadcast.
I loved playing high school sports. I loved the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, all the pageantry, and I wanted to keep playing. But I graduated. No colleges called, and neither did the pros. So, to stay close to the game I loved, I decided to become a high school official. You know, a referee. When I played high school sports, I learned the importance of integrity, good sportsmanship, and respect for the rules. Now, as a high school official, I get to help model these same values to others. Maybe the colleges and the pros didn't call, but the kids in Iowa did. And now, I'm enjoying the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, and all the pageantry of high school sports all over again.
Interested in becoming a licensed high school official? Go to highschoolofficials.com to learn more and begin the application process.
At Security State Bank, we realize each customer has a unique set of needs and goals. That's why we place a greater value on providing outstanding customer service. All products and services are designed for customers within our local community. We value each customer that walks through our door and wants to give them the personalized attention they deserve. Find out why Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne is your partner in community banking. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
A good Saturday afternoon start for the Algona Bulldogs as they lead the Garner, Hayfield, and Ventura Cardinals by a score of 28-17. I'm Tyler Lance alongside Greg Stewart. As the Algona boys team looking to win their second game in a row, they dropped 90 on St. Edmund last night. A little bit of a different style of game this afternoon, but so far working out well for Algona.
Yeah, can't feel too bad about an 11-point lead here at half, and it was a little bit larger, kind of a rough last minute and a half there for the Bulldogs, but not too bad of a game, but a much different game. Last night, Bulldogs repeatedly able to get turnovers and runouts. Not quite so much tonight. Garner, Hayfield, Ventura has turned it over 11 times, but they've turned the Bulldogs over 13 times unofficially. I had the Bulldogs losing the ball there 7 times there in the second quarter, and that was several toward the end of the quarter there where they're trying to build on that lead. The other thing that really hasn't happened for the Bulldogs yet is three-point shooting. They've done a decent job moving the ball around, but just haven't really hit the shots. Just 2 out of 9. Now, that being said, Garner, Hayfield, Ventura have got them 1 out of 12 from outside the arc. So neither team able to get threes to fall. And Garner's got some baskets there inside. Did a good job there a couple times in out-of-bounds plays, getting wide open looks. Bulldogs in that second quarter especially able to survive largely because of Tyler Mansky working inside, getting rebounds, and got a couple baskets and got himself to the free throw line for 4 throws there. But stats here at halftime, as I mentioned, the turnovers, both teams, I would guess coach is not real pleased with how they're taking care of the ball. Algona officially with 13 turnovers, the Cardinals with 11. 7 offensive boards for Garner and 6 for the Bulldogs. Shooting from the field, Algona 10 out of 25, 40%. That's not bad. Garner, Hayfield, Ventura 7 out of 25, 28%. I mentioned the three-point shooting. Neither team doing real well. Ben Helmers hit 1 and Tristan Larson hit 1. So the Bulldogs have 2 out of 9 attempts. And Garner, Hayfield, Ventura just 1 out of 12 from the line. The Cardinals 2 out of 5. And the Bulldogs 4 out of 6 here at halftime. So looking at the second half, I think the defensive intensity needs to stay up both ways. You want to clean up, take care of the ball perhaps a little bit better, and continue to work for those good shots. And I think if either team can start hitting shots, of course right now, if Algona can start hitting some more shots, they can follow the girls' pattern and kind of open this one up. If Garner starts getting hot from three-point land, this one can get real interesting.
No doubt about it, as the score right now, 28-17 at halftime in favor of Algona. The first half scoring numbers look like this. Bulldogs had Ben Helmers leading the way with 15 points. Alex Mansky added in 10 points. For Garner, Hayfield, Ventura, Aiden Haw led the way with 6. Key stat in the first half, Drew Britson held it to just 3 points. You can see his athleticism. You can see the tough shots he's trying to take and really carry this Cardinal offense. But when he's cold, oftentimes the Cardinals are cold. And the Bulldogs have done a good job on him this afternoon.
Yeah, they really have played really good defense on him. He's a good player, as we mentioned, a couple of nice assists when the Bulldogs did have it and doubled up and forced on the baseline on a drive there late. He still had the presence of mind to find a teammate underneath the basket for nice assists. On the other end of the court, Ben Helmers has really been working in the middle of the lane, and they've been making him take some really tough shots. And Ben's been doing his thing for the most part, but he had a few kind of roll off there late in the first half.
I'll pose this to you, Greg. The Bulldogs have not seen a lot of zone this season, but they did see some zone against Humboldt in the second half of that game. Right around the time when Humboldt really turned it around and pulled away, they're seeing some zone from Garner, Hayfield, and Ventura today on a day where it's not really a great offensive first half for Algona. What do they need to do to play better against a zone defense?
Yeah, well, you got to keep on moving the ball. You got to make the defense shift. The girls did a nice job of that, getting to the inside to make the zone collapse. And the Bulldogs boys have really done a decent job moving the ball. You got to just keep on making that zone work, making them shift. If you can get it inside and then back out to the perimeter for open looks. The Bulldogs have got some three-point shooters. We haven't heard Fike yet today, and he should be, I would think, a zone killer with good zone movement there against, or ball movement rather, against the zone. So it's just patience, taking care of the ball, and moving the ball.
So that is what we are looking for in the second half, coming up in 2 minutes on Home Country Radio, KLGZ.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio. Brought to you by these sports club members.
Farmer State Bank is proud to be a part of our community for over 125 years with offices in Algona, Whittemore, and West Bend.
Jensen Chiropractic. Care for the whole family.
Stroman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Phil's Auto and Truck Repair. Service is the difference.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
Oak Crest Funeral Services. Celebrating a life lived.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
Algona Frame and Auto Body. Collision Specialist. A total commitment to excellence.
Water Connection, from softeners to bottled water and service. Call 295-SOFT.
Algona Pizza Ranch. There's so much to love.
All bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio. When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at MoneyPass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
Rolling into the second half of basketball action on Home Country Radio and the Algona Radio YouTube stream. Quick thank you to our video streaming sponsors, including Algona State Farm Insurance agent Billy Offerman, Algona Municipal Utilities, where they are community-owned for community benefit, Highland Endeavors, proud supporter of area athletics, and Chemna Auto Center, where it's not just about the car, it's about the care. A low-scoring game so far, a tough-shooting three-point game for both teams, and right now it's the Algona Bulldogs up 28-17 over the Garner Hayfield Ventura Cardinals. The Cardinals wearing the white uniforms will start off the second half of the basketball. They will head from left to right on the radio dial to begin half number 2 of action. Cardinals went on a little mini run at the end of the first half, got this deficit back down to 11, and they will try to continue to push coming out of the locker room. It'll be Drew Britson crossing across the Cardinal logo at midcourt, deals it to Graham in the lane, and Graham will turn it over as he fired it over the head of Aiden Haw.
He had the right idea, get it in the mid lane, then looking at the baseline, but just threw it a little too hard and too high.
Cardinals 6-0 in this gymnasium this season. Bulldogs, believe it or not, they're 0-3 on the road so far, looking for their first road victory. Fike out top, passing it over to the right to Welp. Beyond the perimeter as he flips it back to the left to Weber. Now Fike into the lane. Helmers dishes it to Mansky. He's in a ton of traffic, but he lays it in anyways. They had 3 people trying to stay vertical right around Alex Mansky, but he had enough space to work with. Oh, and Fike's going to pick up a foul here as Graham tried to squeeze past him along the sideline.
Yep. Just took an extra move toward the offensive player just as he was breaking, and Fike knew he got caught there. Used his hands to try to stay with him.
Fike's been quiet this afternoon. He's been averaging 14 points per game this season, but 0 so far in this game. As Hall attacks inside, and he draws the foul by Welp. And he'll shoot 2.
Now looking first 2 possessions at least, like Garner Hayfield Ventura coming out of the locker room looking to get the ball inside. It's understandable when you're shooting 1 of 12 from outside the arc.
I was going to make that exact point, Greg. They're in a three-point shooting black hole right now, and the best thing you can do is try to get it inside, get those high percentage shots. Obviously, Alex Mansky is tough on the interior for Algona, but, you know, in a man-to-man defense, maybe you can find a way to scheme Mansky away from the paint if you're Garner Hayfield Ventura, as the second foul shot is good as well, making it 30-19. Helmers in the far corner for Algona. 1 minute into this third quarter. Now Fike out top, passing it right to Welp. Pass got tipped by Banky. Welp in the corner, comes all the way across to Fike. Fike rises, he'll let the three-pointer fly, but it's off the back of the cup. Rebound deflects all the way to the far side to Banky, and now Cardinals have a little push here. Graham dealing to Britson. Britson wasn't ready for the ball, but he saved from going out of bounds. Working the baseline, a behind-the-back pass as he finds Gakin. Gakin in the lane, and that shot is rejected. Helmers got a hand on it, and here come the Bulldogs. Welp to Helmers, just inside the foul line, wraps the pass over to Mansky. Cross the court to Fike, he'll try again, and his three-pointer's a little bit long. Rebound is batted, and it can't be secured by the Bulldogs as Britson gets it. Bounce pass up to Gakin. Gakin off the glass, and he lays it in. Haw off the find, Gakin at the finish, and the Cardinals back within single digits.
Fike's had some good looks. His shot just a hair off here tonight so far.
Weber passing it left to Welp. 30-21 is the Algona lead over Garner, Hayfield, Ventura. Weber back at top. Passing it left to Welp, now into the lane. Helmers, pump fakes to the left, tried to rise for a jumper, got knocked back into his hands as he passes to Fike in the corner, and Fike hits a three-pointer.
There we go.
It was only a matter of time if he kept shooting it, and he has his first three of the afternoon. 33-21, Algona back up to a double-digit lead. They're up by 12 with 5:46 on the clock in quarter number 3. Into the corner to the right of us, Graham, and he'll answer back the three-pointer. Mason Graham, a 36.5% three-point shooter so far this season. As the steal is taken by the Cardinals, 5:27 on the clock. Running the other way, it's Gakin, hooks it up the right hand, and he hooks it in.
Boy, he got really deep there, and nice job of just getting off the back of the rim, and it happened to fall through. Another turnover there.
Another turnover as the Cardinals will run the other direction. They're trying to get it in transition as Britson hooks it up, and he'll miss it. Bulldogs get the rebound after that. 36, make it 33-26 right now in favor of Algona. Fike has it top of the key, passing it into the lane. Helmers puts it up, and it rolls off, no good. Had a tough angle on that shot, but almost found a way to make it work. Britson, with 3 points so far this afternoon, has a lot of traffic near half court as he'll loop it over the top, over to Haw. Now back out to Britson. 4:36 on the clock. Britson sidearms it to the right to Banky, beyond the perimeter. And now popping up to the top of the key is Haw. Haw handing off to Britson. Bulldogs are sending two players at Britson again. He passes away from trouble, finds Graham. Graham passing it into the lane. The ball is batted away, and there's a turnover. Here comes Welp for Algona. Welp weaves past Mansky into the lane, deals to Helmers, rotates it to Fike. Fike shoots another three, and it rattles off, no good. Ball is knocked out of bounds, and it'll go back to the Cardinals.
Well, it's tough. It was another really good look for Fike, but just a hair off. He's going to come out of the ball game now. Larson comes in. Fike's just having kind of a tough shooting night. Got one to fall down.
Yeah, as we know, those three-pointers, they can definitely come and go at times for anyone who has a high percentage of three-point shots. Halfway into this third quarter, Britson into the lane to Haw, and a miscommunication as Gakin was cutting to the bucket, and Haw was passing to the corner. So turnover by the Cardinals. That has definitely been an issue this afternoon. Really, both sides have had times of turnovers, but Cardinals getting burned for one there.
Yeah, it's a third this quarter for the Cardinals. A couple on the Bulldogs.
Haw will head to the bench. Johnson back in for the Cardinals. Weber has it on the right wing for Algona. Welp up top, flipping it left to Larson. Larson looks inside. He'll shoot the three instead. Left it a little short. Mansky back taps it out, and Welp has the basketball. Bullets it back inside to Mansky. A beautiful find and a beautiful finish. And a timeout is called on the floor with 3:38 on the clock. Alex Mansky now has 14 points, and Welp, number 2 in distributing assists in the North Central Conference, gets one there. It's a 60-second timeout. Algona up 35-26 over Garner, Hayfield, Ventura on Home Country Radio, KLGZ.
With over a decade of experience, Jake Ingalls Electric is here to handle any electrical job you could possibly have. From anything agricultural related to complex commercial wiring to something simple like installing a new outlet in your home, Jake Ingalls Electric does it all. Have your wiring done right and call Jake at 515-320-4286. Jake Ingalls Electric, shockingly good service.
For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa bone, joint, and sports surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
It's Algona 35, Garner, Hayfield, Ventura 26 as we come back. 3:33 on the clock and ticking in quarter number 3. Cardinals with the basketball. Britson into the corner to Gakin. Gakin crossing the lane, dealing it into the corner to Scheisel. He'll rise for a three-pointer and he'll splash it through.
Well, 2 for 2 now the Cardinals are on the three-point shot here this quarter.
After hitting just 1 in the first half, Weber, top of the key, Welp pump fakes. He'll fire up a three-pointer, misses off the back of the cup. A lot of traffic in the lane. Rebound is peeled away by Mansky, and he and Gakin got tied up for a jump ball. Well, 35-29. Cardinals spent most of the first half trailing by double digits, but they are slowly getting it back down to a manageable deficit in the latter part of the third quarter. Larson lobbing it into Mansky, now over to Helmers on the left wing. Helmers fakes to the left and passes back out top to Welp. Welp flipping it left to Larson. 2:58 on the clock, now back up top to Welp. Bulldogs working patiently around the perimeter, now to the left to Welp. In the lane, Helmers. He fought about the jumper, turned in the air and passed it to Welp. Welp over to Weber. Weber's three-point ball is a little bit short, and it's rebounded by Banky. Helmers just totally changed his mind in the middle of elevating for a jumper and said, you know what, I think I'll pass instead, but even his passes look extremely athletic.
I think the defender might have got a hand on the ball as he was coming up, and he felt he didn't have a good grip on it, so got rid of it.
Banky into the corner to Scheisel. Now beyond the perimeter, Johnson. Johnson's three-point ball, knuckles on the rim. Almost got the friendly hop that time, but the Bulldogs will get the rebound. Helmers outside the Larson, pump fakes left, slides inside, turns back out, and he'll throw it into the backcourt, and the Bulldogs will turn it over.
Goodness sakes. Well, a little struggle right now both ways. Garner, after shooting cold in that first half, really had made 4 of the first 6 from the field, including the first 2 3-point attempts there in the second half. They've hit 2 out of 3. The Bulldogs, meanwhile, have hit just 1 out of 7 3-point attempts here in the third quarter.
Yeah, Algona's been spinning the tires a little bit here in the third quarter. They are stuck offensively right now. Right now on the floor, it'll be Mansky, Helmers, both Larsons, and Weber for Algona. Scheisel from the far side of the court gets it into Gakin. Gakin flashing across the lane. Now Haw back to the left to Scheisel. The junior who's averaging 6 points a game is guarded by Tristan Larson. Flips it over to the left and finds Zlorostlik. Back to Scheisel on the near side. Larson shadowing him on the perimeter. Over to the left, Gakin. Gakin back to Scheisel. Rolls around the screen, turns back to the bucket, passing it to Gakin just to the right of center, and Gakin throws it away as Helmers has the interception. Bulldogs will run. Helmers will take it himself down the lane. Offensive foul. It was Mason Graham who drew the charge from Helmers, and that'll be foul number 3 against the Algona sophomore.
Well, they've really been, when Helmers has the ball, they've been bringing defenders to him, trying to get him to give it up, and that time Helmers thought he could reach over the top, but got a little contact before he released the ball.
Down to 1:37 to go in quarter number 3. Cardinals trailing the Bulldogs by 6, but they have slowly worked back into it as Larson knocked it away from Graham out of bounds. It'll stay with the Cardinals. Just a very quick strike at the hands by Larson that time as Drew Britson will come off the bench. Scheisel will take a seat. Britson of 3 points this afternoon. He's been quiet. At the Cardinal logo right now, dribbles between the legs and bounces it over to the right. Graham flipping it left to Haw at the top of the key. Britson came around. Haw will drive instead towards the baseline. Mansky keeps him away from the lane. Outside Britson, pump fakes, sidesteps Weber, elevates for 3, and he rattles it in. 3-point game, just like that. Cardinals have worked back into it. Now down to 1 minute to go in the third quarter. 35-32, the Algona advantage. Larson on the near side of the court, bouncing it down to the baseline to Mansky. Over to the right, Weber. He'll let the three-pointer fly. Rattles out of the cup, no good. Ball's batted towards the far side of the court, and it's out of bounds back to the Cardinals.
Now this is similar to what we saw in that Humboldt game. The Bulldogs against the zone just suddenly have gone ice cold. Can't get good open looks, really. Just not going down.
And Weber has gone cold on the three-point shooting. He's been shooting 20% this season after a quick early start. There's a spin by Britson, passes towards the baseline, and a foul on the floor. This is going to be Weber for Algona on the push. That'll be his second foul as Britson spun away from him.
All right, as we look ahead here, that's 4 team fouls on Algona, none on the Cardinals so far this half.
We'll see if the Cardinals try to force the issue inside here and try to force their way to the bonus. And a 5-second call. Banky couldn't get it in. Algona played 5 seconds of good defense on the inbounds pass, and that'll be a free turnover.
I think you have to call this a defensive struggle. Weber coming out of the game now here. Oh, they didn't get him. Weber's got an injury. He's limping. He kind of reached for his calf there, or not his calf, his thigh. Maybe he got a knee on that last drive. I don't know. But Coach Cecil will get the attention of the official, and they stop play.
So after that, the Bulldogs will have the 2 Larsons. They'll have Helmers, Welp, and Mansky on the floor as Weber heads to the bench. 32 seconds left on the clock. And here we go. This is an opportunity for us to learn something about Algona. They have not won a defensive back-and-forth grind game yet this season. Can they do it is the question. 25 seconds to go in the quarter. Up top to Larson. This is a little more par for the course for the Cardinals. They played in quite a few low-scoring games, and they have prevailed in most of them, out to a 7-2 record to start the year. 12 on the shot clock, 10 on the game clock, so they're nearly even. Larson over to Welp, 6 on the shot clock. Now back to Larson. Back to Welp, far side of the court. Back to Larson again. 1 second. They'll have to elevate. Devin Larson banks in a three-pointer. Oh, Devin Larson at the buzzer.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, it was Tristan Larson and Landon Welp just passing back and forth. At the last minute, they said, here you go, Devin Larson. And he delivered, so the Bulldogs will head into the fourth quarter up by 6 on Home Country Radio, KLGZ.
More sports club members making these broadcasts possible on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Kasuth Regional Health Center. Make KRHC your home for healthcare.
North Iowa Appliance Center, Highway 18 East Algona, where they sell the best and service the rest.
Tom Eischen Sales, your store in the country. Highway 18 West.
Algona Plumbing and Heating, where a good flush always beats a full house.
Runkey Brothers Full Service. Experience the Runkey Brothers difference for all of your auto service and repair needs.
Purpleding and Boyd CPAs. They're not just about taxes.
Purpleding Excavating Enterprise. Let them take care of your grading, excavating, and drainage needs.
Hy-Vee. Use the Fuel Saver card. Fill your cart, fuel your car.
AK's Chrome Kitchen. When you come in, your family.
All sports club members bringing you this broadcast.
Eight minutes of basketball action left from Garner, Hayfield, Ventura High School. Devin Larson banks in a three-pointer at the buzzer to end the third quarter, and Algona goes up 38-32. Greg, sometimes when you have a poor shooting three-point outing, sometimes you just need a bank shot like that to get things started.
Yeah, we saw one in the JV boys game banked in for Algona as well. That one straight on.
Cardinals will have the basketball starting off the fourth and final quarter. Trailing Algona by 6 right now. Banky, shadowed by Welp, heads towards the left around the perimeter, playing physically as he bounces it right to Britson. 10 on the shot clock for Britson. He'll back up. He's looking for a screen. Britson drives right, backs up again. Helmer stays in front, steps back for a three-pointer, and he swishes it as Britson shushes the crowd.
Well, that was a big defensive stance there and a big shot by Brinson.
Back down to a three-point game. Cardinals, after being unable to buy a three-pointer in the first half, they have hit some good three-point shots in half number 2 as Larson's bounce pass is knocked out of bounds, and the Bulldogs will keep it.
Yeah, matter of fact, the Cardinals 3 out of 4 from outside the arc there in the third quarter. Now add another make. They're 4 out of 5 in the second half.
So the Cardinals, they've hit timely three-pointers. Again, not a ton of three-point shot attempts getting up, but they picked their spots well here in the final stretches of this game. 1 minute into the fourth quarter. Welp passing it over to Larson. Larson far side of the court. Now to Tristan Larson. He got hit in the face, and here come the Cardinals off the turnover. Running the other way, it's Graham. Lays it up, and he lays it in. And we may have another injured player, Tristan Larson.
Yeah, he's got the bloody nose, it looks like, coming off. No foul called there. Obviously, there maybe could have been, but maybe it's the ball that hit him in the face. But it paid off for the Cardinals. They got a layup out of it.
And just like that, it's back down to a one-point game. Boy, I'll tell you what, Greg, I cannot remember. I think it was 8-7 when the last time this game was within 1 point. But the Cardinals, they have kept their eyes on the prize throughout the second half. They did not roll over when the Bulldogs had a double-digit halftime lead. Fike left to center, deals inside to Helmers. Helmers pass to Mansky is out of bounds, and there's a big turnover by Algona. And all of a sudden you can feel momentum shifting and shifting and shifting towards the Cardinal side as a timeout is called right now on the floor with 6:36 on the clock by Coach Cecil. 30-second timeout. But Greg, once again, it's not a big commanding run that just jumps off the screen at you. It's just slowly working back into the game, taking good shots, and now playing good defense by Garner, Hayfield, Ventura.
Yeah, we talked about the pace of the ball game, and Garner, Hayfield, Ventura has been able to slow this thing down and really make it a half-court game. And against that zone and cold shooting, Algona has given the Cardinals lots of opportunities, and to their credit, they've made the Bulldogs pay right now here in the second half. Garner, Hayfield, Ventura 7 out of 10 from the field, shooting 70% here in the second half.
Wow, that is hard to believe, but it's a good way to get back into the game shooting like that, as it's a 1-point margin. I think a lot of teams now watching Algona might be considering throwing a zone at them with what the Bulldogs have seen so far this season, as the pass is knocked away. Turnover by the Cardinals. Bulldogs come the other way. Helmer's working the baseline. Turns all the way around and comes top of the key to Mansky. Mansky bullets inside the Fike. It's knocked away, and there's an Algona turnover as Gakin secures the ball.
Turnovers continue really both ways. That's the 20th turnover on Algona I've got.
A turnover-filled night, 38-37. Algona leading Garner, Hayfield, Ventura as we're down to 6 minutes to go in the fourth.
They got open.
Down to Howe. Fike stays in front. A bounce pass to Gakin, cutting into the lane. Missed it right at the cup, and the rebound got volleyball to Welp. Cardinals may have missed a couple good opportunities on that possession. Top of the key, Welp. Down to 5:45 to go as Algona clinging to a 1-point lead. Helmers, foul line jumper, missed it long. Rebound by Gakin. Here comes Britson into the front court. Britson heads to the left, wants to get to the cup, and he got fouled. He was trying to get past Simon Fike, and Britson drew Algona's 5th foul of the half. That will be on Fike, as we mentioned, and Britson will shoot 2.
Well, like I mentioned, a tight ball game. This foul situation is starting to shape up as being potentially huge.
And Britson drains the foul shot, and we are all locked up, 38 apiece. And the Cardinals will have a chance to take their first lead since the first quarter. Britson's up to 10 points. The crowd hushes as Britson swirls the foul shot into the drain. And Algona looking at the short end of the score right now, 39-38, down to 5.5 minutes. Welp drifts towards the near side and flips it up top to Devin Larson. Larson back to Welp, almost threw it behind him, but Welp picked it up with 5:15 on the clock. To Helmers at the edge of the lane, lost the ball, picked it back up, and a foul will be called on the floor.
Now there's the first foul on the Cardinals here in this half.
And that one's going to go against Graham, his second of the game. Larson from the baseline, looking to lob it into Helmers. Center of the paint, rises, missed it as he left it short. Cardinals did a nice job sandwiching Helmers that time, as now Johnson navigates away from some Bulldog pressure in the backcourt. Underhands it to Banky with 5 minutes left on the clock. Big momentum possession here for the Cardinals. Back up 39-38. Britson against Fike. Britson deals to Banky in the corner. Here comes a three, and he got it! Banky gives the Cardinals a 4-point lead. 42-38, now the crowd really getting into it. And Fike traveled. Fike was trying to use the pivot foot and get it to Helmers in the lane, but he traveled and the Bulldogs turn it over.
Yep, just a little excited there. Things have really been going very much the way that Humboldt game went back in December. Timeout by Algona. It's going to be a full timeout.
So a full timeout called by Coach Cecil, and the Bulldogs with a lot to talk over. The Garner, Hayfield, Ventura Cardinals have flipped this game around, and they have taken a 4-point lead with 4:37 left.
More Sports Club members making these broadcasts possible on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Algona Livestock Sales. Sales every Monday.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce. 2 sauces for all seasons.
Farm and Home Services. View their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Holmes Animal Clinic. Animals large and small, they love them all.
Signworks. For all your signage needs as well as printed shirts, caps, and jackets, stop in or call 295-9544.
Style Salon, your salon in Algona. Create yourself.
Dance Connection and Tumbling by Michelle. Passionate about teaching, creative about dance. Visit their studio or danceconnectionbymichelle.com.
TAFE Wellness Center in Algona and Armstrong. Keeping athletes in the game with chiropractic care. Take charge of your health.
All proud sponsors of this broadcast.
Garner, Hayfield, Ventura 42, Algona 38. The Cardinals have outscored the Bulldogs by a count of 25-10 in the second half. Greg, Bulldogs do not have as much time as they once did to get it together.
No, you're going to have to turn up the pressure here and got to get something going on offense. They just have not been able to score.
Britson has it on the left wing. Actually make that Banky. Now he floats it up top to Britson. 4-point Cardinal advantage. Britson thought about pulling from deep. Steps back, weaves into the lane, dishes into the corner to Graham. Graham working the baseline. Offensive foul as Tristan Larson got in front. With the tape on the nose and everything.
Yeah, quickness of Tristan Larson. He's got cotton jammed up his nose there for the earlier turnover. Nice job defensively there.
Tristan Larson is going to have the battle scars after this game, but is he going to have a win? That is the question. Algona trailing by 4 right now. Devin Larson at the ball. Larson flips to the right to Tristan Larson. 4:06 on the clock, now back to Devin Larson just to the left of center. Halmer's in the high post. Halmer's down the lane, rises, and he got hacked. Halmer's will shoot 2.
Well, Cardinal defense really inviting that lob pass into Helmers, and they just collapse on him.
And that was a shot Helmer's hit in the first half, but he has not had as much success with in the second half, as now he'll shoot 2 free throws. And the first one bounces off, no good.
Boy, got to get one to go down here.
15 points right now by Ben Helmers to lead Algona. Alex Mansky with 14. Helmers' second foul shot, got the friendly bounce. Back down to a one-possession game, 42-39. And Bulldogs are going to throw a little full court pressure in. Banky navigating away from Weber. Weber in his face to the near side to Graham. Graham gets it across the timeline. Graham will let his teammates catch up as he hands it off to Banky to the right of center. Now back up top to Britson. 3:45 and rolling on the clock. A 3-point Cardinal advantage. Into the lane, Graham gets it to Gakin. He put it up and he put it down. Gakin have a chance for a 3-point play and a huge momentum-grabbing play by the Cardinals.
No, absolutely it was. Bulldogs really pressuring the perimeter. They got it inside, and then the baseline man, and nice strong shot there against tough defense. Larson really went up hard, but couldn't stop the shot.
The sophomore Lane Gakin has been averaging 4 points a game this season, but if he makes his foul shot, he will be up to 11. As he missed it off the back of the cup, ball's batted and it goes to Larson. Here comes Devin Larson up the court, drifting towards the far side as Garner, Hayfield, Ventura leads it by a score of 44-39. Into the near corner to Mansky. Mansky coming over to Devin Larson, bullets it inside to Mansky, kisses it off the glass for 2. Alex Mansky with a big bucket for Algona.
Absolutely it was.
Bulldogs continue to apply the full court pressure, and there is a trip and a fall and a foul called against Algona. So Bulldogs will get tagged for that one. That is going to be number 7 against Algona. Like you said, Greg, the foul advantage has been in Garner, Hayfield, Ventura's favor here in the second half, and they'll be in the bonus for the final 3:15.
Yeah, well, they got the lead, so the pressure's on Algona, and they can draw possessions out and make Algona foul. Get trips to the free throw line, so it could well be a free throw contest to see if GHV can hit them.
Graham, an 83% free throw shooter, swishes the first one. Back up to a 2-possession game, 45-41 Cardinals.
And of course, you can't exchange free throws for made baskets, so the Bulldogs got to hope there's a miss here to get the rebound.
Graham bounces that one, missed it right, rebound's tapped. Cardinals trying to keep it alive. Britson shovels it in, and he made an amazing save to save the possession. And then a foul on the Cardinals. Oh, Gakin ran into Larson, and the Bulldogs are going to catch a huge break here right after the Cardinals thought they had saved a possession.
That was almost unbelievable how that ball came off the rim and was nearly saved. Well, was saved for GHV. But then they gave it right back. So, yeah, dodged the bullet there.
Britson was flying out of bounds. He had no visibility of the cork, just threw it back in and found his man, but it is all for naught on that possession after the Gakin foul. Into the lane, Halmers hooks it up. It rolls off.
Unbelievable.
But he got fouled.
Yeah, he's going to go to the line, but man, Ben Helmer's so good in there and had so many balls here the second half just trickle over the rim.
I don't know. They may need to bring out the level for that rim on the Garner Hayfield Ventura side. Maybe it's slanted slightly or something like that because Halmers was hitting on the other side perfectly fine. But all joking aside, Halmers now up to 17 points as he drains the first foul shot. Under 3 minutes to go. Helmer's another big free throw, and it is up and it is in. 2-point game, 45-43. Algona down by 2. They'll try to continue forcing the issue with a full court press. Into Ha. They try to double team him, but he passes it away to Banky. Now up to Graham as the Cardinals get it across the timeline. Graham top of the key. They'll throw Welp at him. Graham to the left of the lane, turns it out to Britson of 2:45 on the clock. Britson guarded by Weber now on the perimeter, heading towards his right. Flips it into the lane off the hands of Gakin, and that's a turnover. Welp has the basketball for Algona as Gakin could not secure the pass. Devin Larson had it peeled away by Graham. Ball still loose on the floor, but Halmers picked it up for Algona and saved the possession. Almost a huge turnover of 2:25 left. Welp with 18 on the shot clock into the corner to Weber. Weber floats it across to Devin Larson. Larson back to the left to Welp, into the corner again to Weber. Weber finding Mansky on the baseline, back out Weber. He'll shoot a 3, rolls off, no good. Fight for the rebound on the foul on Algona. Devin Larson went sailing in and he ran into Gakin. Well, Bulldogs were very patient on that possession. It's not too often when the shot clock is relevant for Algona, but they worked that all the way down. Cardinals played about 30 seconds of defense, and now it'll be 1-1 at the foul line. Larson for Larson of Tristan coming in, Devin going to the bench for Algona. And it'll be Gakin at the free throw line again. Gakin has really been in the center of the action in the second half for the Cardinals. Right now sitting on 10 points. And he swishes the foul shot. 3-point advantage right now for the Cardinals, and a huge free throw upcoming. 2:06 left in the ball game. Halmers with 18 for Algona, Mansky with 16, but the Bulldogs on the short end, 46-43. Gakin takes a long breath, and he drains the second foul shot. Back up to a 4-point game. Gakin will head to the bench after that foul shot. Scheisel will come in, and we're down to 2 minutes to go. Weber's in the corner, surveying the defense around the perimeter of the Larson. A bounce pass to Halmers. They'll try to swarm him. Halmers hopping into the lane, floating it up, and it rolls around the cup and drops in.
That's a Ben Helmer shot there. Just put it up softly.
Boy, Halmers needed a good bounce, and he got it. Up to Graham, and it's stolen by Larson, and a jump ball. Larson and Graham went up like a receiver and a defensive back, jostling for the ball, and they both came down with it.
Yeah, and wow. Wow.
The Cardinal crowd, I will say, is not enthused. They thought Larson committed the foul, but the jump ball arrow is in favor of Algona, so the Bulldogs are going to snatch a possession away.
Now you want to make it count.
2-point game, 47-45. Garner, Hayfield, Ventura on top of Algona. Weber's in the corner. Works out of the corner to Larson on the left wing. Now towards the right to Welp. Welp back to the left to Larson, shifting the defense. Pump fakes left, comes into the corner. Near side to Weber. Weber sidearms it over to Welp. Into the lane, Halmers. Halmers diving inside, rising, and he ties the game at 47. Ben Halmers of 22.
You're ready on defense here.
Britson coming back the other way, trying to get past Larson. Rises for a jumper, left it short, and the rebound is taken by Larson. Bulldogs with 1:04 on the clock. Here comes Welp across half court. We are all locked up at 47. Last few possessions have been very good for Algona. They've gone to that Halmers jumper in the lane. Welp to left to center. They find Halmers again. Halmers rising. He missed it. It's tipped, and a whistle and an offensive foul. Well, you can see the Cardinals were setting up for that. They know Helmers loves to go in. He loves to lean in, and they saw that coming the whole way as Helmers picks up foul number 4 with 49 seconds left. Timeout is called by Coach Young, and the Cardinals will keep it right here. 47-47 tie. Boy, Greg, this game has not disappointed this afternoon.
Well, it's been exciting, no doubt about that, especially if you're a neutral fan. If you're a fan of either one of these schools, it's been very exciting, but oh my goodness. We've seen swings here. Looks like the Bulldogs in good shape, certainly in halftime with an 11-point lead. But Garner, Hayfield, Ventura really just set back in that zone. And the Bulldogs, as they did and have before the season, just went ice cold against the zone. And little by little, GHV got back in the ball game, got the lead. Now we got the Bulldogs. The defensive effort is always there. Larson launched himself into the air over there to get what was called a jump ball. And a turnover, but Bulldogs unable to collect as he get it inside, and Helmer's called after he goes after his miss on an offensive foul. So tie ball game, 50 seconds left, just about everything you could hope for an exciting high school basketball game.
Boy, Bulldogs have played some great Saturday games this season. Obviously, the earlier Saturday game against Charles City did not go in Algona's favor. And right now, they are in an absolute dogfight against the Cardinals, tied at 47. Full-court press coming from Algona. It'll be Banky to trigger the inbounds play. Banky looking for Britzen. Weber is trying to front Britzen and not let him get the balls. We'll get it into Scheisel instead. And now Banky will jog it into the front court as the Bulldogs back off. 14-second difference between game clock and shot clock. Game clock is down to 40 seconds. Huge, huge possession for the Cardinals. Britzen up top, guarded by Weber. Over to the right to Banky. Helmers has him on the perimeter. Wraps the pass inside, off the window, and missing it. Haw could not finish. Ball knocked out of bounds, but it was off of Algona, and the Cardinals will keep it with 27 seconds left.
Wow, what a break there for the Cardinals.
They had the look they wanted of Haw inside, could not finish the layup, but now the shot clock is off, game clock down to 27 seconds, and Banky triggering the inbounds play. Banky's looking, gets it inside Britzen. He's wide open for the lay-in, and the Cardinals have a 2-point lead right back. 22 seconds left. Bulldogs will have to find a good shot here, down to 15 seconds. In the corner to Weber, 13 seconds. Welp back into Weber in the corner. Bullets it to Helmers. He rises, he leans, he misses it. Offensive board, Mansky, and he's fouled. He got fouled as he reached down to get the rebound. That ball was on the floor for a perilous amount of time, but Mansky picked it up, and that'll be on the floor on the Cardinals. So Bulldogs will inbound from the baseline. Cardinals picked up foul number 6 right there. 2-point game. Here comes Welp. Welp looking for someone to pop open. They'll double team Helmers. Into Mansky in the corner. Mansky towards the lane. Out top Weber. Lets the three fly. And he got it! Caden Weber at the buzzer. 0.3 seconds left in the game. Caden Weber gives Algona a 1-point lead. Oh, Greg, he's been cold all afternoon, but when it mattered the most, the senior stepped up in the clutch.
Wow, I tell you what, that will wipe out all the bad thoughts about how things have been going shooting-wise for the Bulldogs. On the outside of the arc, had been really tough. And I thought, here again, the Bulldogs probably going to try to hammer it inside, make a whistle be blown or get the game tied up. But instead, it's a wide open look for Caden Weber, who had struggled, as you mentioned, all day long. And he nails it, potentially, the winning shot here. 3/10 of a second on the clock. Officials are talking about it. I don't know if they're going to put any time back or not. But 3/10 of a second would really be impossible because on a pass in, they're going to give them 5/10 now. Is that right?
It was either 5/10 or 1.5.
Yeah,
they're putting 1.5.
1.5.
Yeah, I thought a little time ran off after that Weber shot, but yeah, so about 1 second ran off. They'll put it back to 1.5. Still a brutally difficult situation for the Cardinals as Weber hits his first field goal of the entire afternoon, but you could not have drawn up a better time. And boy,
my goodness,
you could have had your confidence shaken. He had missed on some three-pointers earlier, but he did not pass up that shot. He knew that was their best look they were going to get, and he took it, he drilled it, and now Algona needs to play less than 2 seconds of defense to secure a hard-fought road win.
Yeah, the big thing here, of course, is avoiding a foul. I mean, you want to play smart defense here. Ideally, have them receive the ball going away from their basket and not going down court. But whatever, you don't want to reach in because it would be a one-on-one and potentially flip the game the other way. So
1.5 seconds left. As you said, 9 fouls by Algona, so the Bulldogs cannot foul this possession. Cardinals will draw up their best play out of the timeout. I would have to imagine the Bulldogs will be focused on blanketing Drew Britson and not letting him get loose. 50-49 advantage right now for Algona.
You'd think, the Bulldogs probably talked about another timeout called by Algona, 30-second.
30-second timeout by Coach Diesel. Well, you can't take him to the grave, Greg, so might as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But no doubt talking about, okay, who do we want to handle the ball here? Who are we going to leave open for the most part? And like I say, you want to stay between them and the basket. You don't want a baseball pass to mid-court. Anybody receiving momentum that can check it up and have a shot, have a chance at a shot going in. If possible, you want them, stay ahead of them, make them come back to get the ball, and you should be okay.
Weber, Larson, Welp, Mansky, and Helmers on the floor for Algona. Mansky's going to go down and guard the inbounds play of Banky. 1.5 seconds left. This is for the ball game. Cardinals have to go the whole length of the court in 1.5 seconds. Banky.
We got another timeout.
And another timeout is called. They'll talk it over. They were setting up to see what it looks like. 50-49 right now. I'll tell you what, far from over right now. It's a 30-second timeout, but being in a game like this, I think, is great for Algona. Whether they had hit that shot by Weber or not, just to play a different style today. The Cardinals are not the same style of a team Algona's seen. They played a lot of teams that play up-tempo at a fast pace, but this game has slowed down a little bit. They faced a zone defense all afternoon, and certainly it has not been a pretty day for Algona, but I think facing a non-conference opponent that plays a totally separate style from you is definitely a positive.
Yeah, good experience. Good experience, without a doubt. We'll hope it's a happy experience as well.
Well, we'll find out in 1.5 seconds as, again, Banky sets up on the baseline, Mansky guarding the inbound pass. Cardinals have 3 players down on the far side of the court, Britson being one of them. Graham is in the intermediate range. Banky running the baseline, throws it the length of the court, and it is intercepted by Helmers, and that is going to be the end of the game. The buzzer sounds, but they say Helmers stepped out before the buzzer. They're going to talk it over. Helmers thought the game was over, and the referees will now confer and say maybe there was a little time left when Helmers stepped out of bounds.
Well, oh, goodness. They threw the ball the full length of the court. There was no GHV player there to get it. And so Helmers picked it up, but his momentum carried him into the corner. The official blew the whistle, saying that he had his toe on the line at the end there where he secured possession. He was being pressured by a GHV player, and now the horn went off. Was that before or after? And looks like we're going to play some more basketball. Oh my goodness sakes, more extra time on the clock, 0.3 of a second.
You only have time for a tip in this, so Garner will likely take a timeout here, and you pretty much have to throw one into the lane and just hope one of your players can volleyball it up and into the net.
Yeah, you got to be looking for a tip in of some sort because you don't have time. And I hope the officials are talking about this too. You don't have time to catch and shoot in 0.3 of a second. So it's got to be just a lob up and a tip in. And of course, if you're Algona again, you got to be concerned about not fouling, getting in the way and making it difficult. But all you have to do is knock the ball away. You don't have to gain possession.
Exactly, and I would say this is actually a much better situation for the Cardinals than the one they were just in.
Oh, yeah.
Having to go the whole length of the court in 1.5 seconds. A tip-in is definitely feasible, but they previously needed a catch and then a miracle, but now if you just somehow find a way to tip the ball in, you can steal one from the Bulldogs. So Algona, they can use tipping as well, like you said. They can try to swat it away, but now a foul is a little more likely as well, so the Bulldogs will have to be careful to avoid that. A lob into the lane, Britson at the buzzer, missed it off the back of the cup, and that is it. Oh, he was within inches of defeating the Bulldogs, but Algona is going to hang on 50-49, and this time it's for real. That's the final buzzer. They're not going to wipe this one out, and the Bulldogs snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. Caden Weber, the go-ahead three-pointer with 1.5 seconds left, and the Bulldogs survive a couple strange circumstances down the final stretch as the Britson final tip of the buzzer is off the mark.
That was incredible, and really nice to see the kids shaking hands and exchanging smiles. They know what they just played in was really an unbelievable game. It's a game that both sides are going to watch the tape of over and over, and especially parts like that last 1.5 seconds where the ball traveled the full length of the court. Thought it was over, but no, Algona had to happen to get their toe in the line. Another shot for Garner, and man, they had it set up there, and they had their star. Caught it and put it back up, but he hit the back of the iron. What an incredible finish to this ball game.
Wow, you could not have drawn up more drama than that. The Cardinals got exactly what they wanted at the end of the game. Their best player for an opportunity to tip it in from the center of the lane at a really favorable angle.
Yes.
The Bulldogs really dodged one there, but I mean, you could not have asked for much more from a finish to the ball game. Hard-fought win by Algona as they are now 7-4 on the season. The Cardinals are 7-3. They have dropped their third in a row. We'll take a deep breath, take a timeout, and look at the final stats for tonight's game coming up next on Home Country Radio and the Algona Radio YouTube live stream.
I loved playing high school sports. I loved the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, all the pageantry, and I wanted to keep playing. But I graduated. No colleges called, and neither did the pros. So, to stay close to the game I loved, I decided to become a high school official. You know, a referee. When I played high school sports, I learned the importance of integrity, good sportsmanship, and respect for the rules. Now, as a high school official, I get to help model these same values to others. Maybe the colleges and the pros didn't call, but the kids in Iowa did. And now, I'm enjoying the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, and all the pageantry of high school sports all over again.
Interested in becoming a licensed high school official? Go to highschoolofficials.com to learn more and begin the application process.
More sports club members making these broadcasts possible on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Algona Livestock Sales. Sales every Monday.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce. 2 sauces for all seasons.
Farm and Home Services. View their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Holmes Animal Clinic. Animals large and small. They love them all.
Signworks for all your signage needs as well as printed shirts, caps, and jackets. Stop in or call 295-9544.
Style Salon. Your salon in Algona. Create yourself.
Dance Connection and Tumbling by Michelle. Passionate about teaching, creative about dance. Visit their studio or danceconnectionbymichelle.com.
TAFE Wellness Center in Algona and Armstrong. Keeping athletes in the game with chiropractic care. Take charge of your health.
All proud sponsors of this broadcast. When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at moneypass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
With over a decade of experience, Jake Ingalls Electric is here to handle any electrical job you could possibly have. From anything agricultural related to complex commercial wiring to something simple like installing a new outlet in your home. Jake Ingalls Electric does it all. Have your wiring done right and call Jake at 515-320-4286. Jake Ingalls Electric, shockingly good service.
For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa bone, joint, and sports surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these sports club members.
American Glass, for all your glass needs, think American.
Farm Bureau Financial Agents Dave Beisch, Jason Brace, Daniel Foth, and Michael Tull.
Chemco Tires, they're all you need to know about tires and service.
Weichert Realtors, the 515 Agency, a fresh approach to real estate.
Feed Mill Coffee Company, where community connects.
Iowa Lakes Community College. Your community, your college.
PMC Advantage Insurance Services, insuring our neighbors for over 80 years.
Walker Chiropractic and Wellness, caring for Algona, Sway City, and the surrounding areas with chiropractic, nutritional, and physical therapy services.
All proud sponsors of this broadcast.
Algona now 5-3 on the season after a thrilling 50-49 win over Garner, Hayfield, Ventura. Cardinals picking up their third loss in a row after a 7-2 start. I'm Tyler Lance alongside Greg Stewart. Greg, the final, 1 minute of that game, 1 second of that game could have been a whole story in itself. Caden Weber hits the game-winning three-pointer with 1.5 seconds left. A full-court heave is almost caught by Ben Helmers. He steps out of bounds with .3 on the clock, and then the Bulldogs survive a late tip-in attempt by Drew Britson to hang on for a 50-49 victory on the road. And really, a game they were down by, I believe, 4 with about a minute left in the game, but had a couple key possessions late, got in a position where a three-point ball would help them out, and all the green lights went Algona's way in this one.
Boy, they did at the end there for sure. The second half was tough for Algona. They had, when Weber hit that three-point shot, Bulldogs had made just 2 out of 2 out of 10 in the second half. And as you mentioned, Weber had not had a good shooting night, and he found himself open. And I tell you what, you mentioned earlier during one of the last timeouts there that, really good experience to play against a team that plays a different style like this. Hats off to Garner, Hayfield, Ventura, because for the most part, they controlled the tempo of this game. They determined how it was going to be played. And Algona did a decent job in the first half, a little bit lower scoring than they're used to, but did a decent job. But tell you what, the second half, they made it really tough on Algona to get comfortable shots. And the comfortable shots that were there were the three-point shots, and they weren't falling. And that's the same thing, like I mentioned, we saw earlier in the season at Humboldt. And a good check of character there for the Algona kids to see, are we going to hang in there? Are we going to stay with it? And not only as a team, but individually, getting a late situation like that, shots aren't falling. Who's got the confidence to take a shot now? Or are we all passers? Are we just looking for – and, the ball came into Weber's hands, and the thing is, Weber's, of course, a senior. He didn't stop to think about it, as he shouldn't at that point. He's a shooter. Things have been going well, but you don't think about it. You just react. He reacted and hit probably the biggest shot of his career so far. We hope he'll have a few more big ones this season, but that wipes out any shooting trouble memories, when you hit a big shot like that. And then the drama, in that last minute or second and a half. Oh, my goodness. That was just unreal, but what a thrilling win. Shall I go ahead?
I've got one more point to make, and then we'll take a look at the final stats.
Yes.
The unsung hero of that final play where Weber hit the three-pointer is Alex Mansky. With 6 seconds left, the Bulldogs miss a shot. Mansky tries to get the offensive rebound. He forces a jump ball. Possession arrow is towards Algona. If Mansky doesn't get in there and force a jump ball and the Cardinals get the rebound, they're shooting free throws. They're likely winning the game. Mansky was really an animal on the boards the entire game. Certainly had double-digit rebounds, had plenty of offensive boards, and he was one of the unsung heroes of that final few seconds that allowed Weber to have the opportunity to hit that clutch three-pointer.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. Excellent point. We talked about Mansky earlier, and what a job he was doing underneath the glass there. And of course, when shots aren't falling, that rebounding force inside is especially big, and that was certainly a huge rebound late there that set up, as you mentioned, that opportunity wouldn't even played out that way, and Garner Hayfield would likely have been walking out of the gym with a thrilling close win themselves. But as it is, the Bulldogs pull this one out 50-49, and the stats, turnovers, I guess just a product of the defensive effort by both sides, and the desire on Algona's part, at least, trying to play a little bit different style of ball. But I've got unofficially 22 turnovers on Algona, 21 on the Cardinals. So, no real advantage there, but boy, lots of opportunities lost to really great defensive efforts. How about that late in the game one that was a challenge for the officials, where the Cardinals throwing it on the far side, and Tristan Larson, it was 10 feet in the air to snag that pass, and of course the Cardinal fans thought he hit their player. It should have been a foul. I saw their player grab Tristan's arm on the way to the floor. Official called it a jump ball, and that saved a possession for Algona. So many individual plays in a thrilling game like this. It comes down to the end. But take a look at the rest of the stats here. Offensive boards were huge. We mentioned Tyler Mansky. I've got Algona with 9 on the game, but I've got the Cardinals at 8 offensive boards on the game. They, much like the girls squad, really hit the glass there for loose balls. Interesting shooting stats, I think, for the game ends up almost identical. Algona 18 out of 46, 39%. And the Cardinals 17 out of 42, 40%. So the two teams shoot almost the same percentage from the floor. The Cardinals did make 6 3-pointers out of 18 attempts. The Bulldogs made only 5 out of 20 attempts, just 25% there. Free throw line also pretty close. Algona made 7 out of 10, which, again, a 1-point game. Each and every one of those made a huge difference, but 7 out of 10 for the game, 70%. The Cardinals 9 out of 14, 61% for the game. But probably you look at any stats, the biggest part of it was that second half where Algona just went stone cold. The Cardinals outscored the Bulldogs 32-22 in that second half. And while the Bulldogs were going cold, yet just 3 out of 11 from outside the arc. Of course, that's counting that huge one that went down at the end of the game. Otherwise, they're 2 out of 10 in the second half, and just 20% shooting. The Cardinals during that time, second half, hit 5 of 6 from outside the arc, 83%. So, I mean, when they got the opportunities, they were putting them down from the field in the second half. The Cardinals 10 out of 17. That's right at 59%. So the Cardinals hot in that second half and made this a thrilling ball game. And these kids on both sides got to feel, I know the Cardinal kids are disappointed one getting away, but by the same token, I saw a lot of smiles, including by the Cardinal players on the court effort. They know what this was. They could have just as easily won it, and great effort by both teams.
That's a great point there as well. Like you said, both teams really understood the significance of this game and the type of back-and-forth contest it was. And really, it was impressive by the Cardinals that they even got back into it. Yes. They were down 28-14 in the first half. I got it down to 28-17 by halftime. But like you said, the shooting numbers went up for them in the second half. They hit a couple three-pointers, and the zone defense really flustered the Bulldogs throughout the course of that game. But, man, I'll tell you what, tough couple days for the Cardinals. They lose an emotional overtime game last night against North Union. Then Caden Weber gets them for a shot with 1 second left in this game. So obviously the Cardinals are a good team. They're 7-3. They're still going to have a great season. But, you know, this is a good point of adversity for Coach Young to talk of his team and see how they rebound from a couple really tough emotional losses.
Right, yeah, that is kind of draining. But hopefully they realize, and I'm sure they will, especially with time, the emotion starts to fade away and you start looking a little bit more at the facts and what actually happened. They had a great game plan. They executed it well for the most part, played good defense, had a nice comeback to get back in this one. They were down 11 at halftime and almost won it. And you know, but for the bounce of a ball here or there, would have won it. And just a thrilling game and a great effort. So yeah, they're a good team and they'll do well the rest of the way.
Won't get much better than that, folks. Algona 50, Garner, Hayfield, Ventura 49 as the Cardinals drop to 7-3. Bulldogs now 5-3 as they win back-to-back games against St. Edmund last night and tonight against the Cardinals. That is it for our broadcast this afternoon. Big thank you to all our video streaming sponsors making this broadcast possible, including Algona State Farm Insurance agent Billy Offerman, Algona Municipal Utilities, Hine Endeavors, and Chemna Auto Center. Big thank you to all of our video streaming sponsors, as we said, including the Greg Penning & Company's certified public accountants, the scoreboard sponsor for tonight's game. Again, final score in this one, Algona 50 and Garner Hayfield Ventura 49. For my partner Greg Stewart, I'm Tyler Lance signing off. This has been a Home Country Radio sports production.